Wake up, get out there.
And then I am at this level. All right, yep. Turn myself up a little bit.
I have a level, that's for sure. Level 2, bitch.
Oh, okay.
Harder than the first level.
Wow.
Not the hardest level in the game, though, but maybe the prettiest.
Okay. I mean, yeah, tune up the graphics on level Mikey.
Mikey level. Mic check.
Mic check, and then transition into us. Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hi. Oh, I just beat the
Where'd you go?
The chaos demo, Nick Turbo. Don't worry. What do you mean? Where'd I go? What did you do?
Oh, you're there. Okay. It's OBS just being weird on me.
Yeah,
okay.
It's your fault.
Yeah, it is. Hi, everybody. We're going to get started here in a second. You know what? Let me refresh this so that I can have chat going. There we go. Chaos. Chaos.
I beat Chaos. Chaos can't hurt me anymore. I defeated him.
All right.
Garland or whatever. I don't know. He's dead. We'll just say I beat that game.
All right.
Smash that like button.
Smash the like button, please.
Hit subscribe.
The bell. Subscribe.
Let's tweet, Jeff. Let's tweet that we're doing this.
Yeah, let's tweet that we're doing this. That's what I meant to do. That's what I was thinking I was going to do, and then I forgot. Bring this up here and say on Twitter.
Mike source. No, we're not. That's not going to be a thing, Mr. Blue. Stop it. Stop it. It's not a thing. Call me bald. Do that. Although it's like I have like E3 bald now, where like I'm growing in hair in the spots where it'll still grow.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to shave it again tomorrow. Look, Nick Turbo, I'll ban you again. You should know better. You're a moderator.
I still have one open button here on my stream deck, and I got to make it the chat thing to say "Shut up, Nick Turbo."
There you go. There you go.
All right. Make sure that this link that I put here works.
You don't have to delete them, Nick. We will kindly ask people to stop saying that. If they need to, if they feel the need to, they can. I won't stop them. But
okay. We've tweeted. We both have. We're live. We look good. We're even on the thing, or how are you gonna sit? Because I feel like I'm higher than you, but is that just because you're sitting back?
Let's see. Let me get my actual posture. I am kind of slouching. This is how I'm gonna sit, but I can't guarantee I'm not gonna slouch again.
Well, that's fine. I'll just raise you up a little bit, Mike. I'm always raising you up.
Raise me up.
Putting you over. Gonna put you
me
over.
over.
All right.
You're putting me over like you're Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
In the later half of his career, not the earlier part where he wouldn't put people over.
No, he would not.
That's very much all he did. After he found Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus and shotguns. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's a message in chat right there. All right, Mike. I'm ready to start if you are.
This is what I need to make kids, then they can't say this about me anymore.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
They'll just say it was like artificial insemination.
I'll tell you what though. That's one thing that people have had a lot of sex of say is make kids. I gotta make kids. I'm sorry, you're right. It's not going to be a thing. This will not be in the podcast. Don't worry. Definitely not.
All right, let's
won't
get
be.
going.
All right, everybody. We're starting. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hit that like button right now. It helps people more find the show. And we're going to start right now in 5, 4, 3. It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this. I'm Jeff Grubb. I write for GamesBeat.com, joined by
Chaos. I mean, Mike Minotti.
There's one thing I know. It's that I want to kill Chaos. Mike, let's just start there. Let's just get it over with.
Yeah, you want to talk about that? Not Nintendo first? You want to hear about Final Fantasy Origin?
You just beat it. I'm like very curious. You just beat it. So yeah, we're going to talk about Nintendo Direct. We're absolutely going to get into that very soon. We're also going to talk about, well, what else? Did anything else happen? Oh, CYBERPUNK is back on the PlayStation Network. We'll probably talk a little bit about that. Mostly right now, first, I want to hear you just beat this demo for Final Fantasy Origin Stranger of Paradise. What do you think?
I think it's actually Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin.
I know. I knew. Yes, I know. It is. It's
Just
because
making sure.
because that's worse. It's a bad name, so you know that's the correct one for
Yeah.
Square Enix.
So, like, I don't know if this is actually worse or better, but the gameplay is completely fine. It might be even good. Like, it is a fun Souls-like experience that does a good job bringing in some Final Fantasy systems, like the job system. Like that's in there in a neat way with the skill tree. They even have magic working pretty well. When you see a super familiar Final Fantasy enemy, that's great. But the game looks very bad. It's
Mm.
graphically awful. I do not like these characters. And because like that stuff puts me in a bad mood, I start getting like nitpicky. Like I don't know why the game has party members. They're like running around and hitting people sometimes, but it's just annoying, especially because like, you know, in a Souls game, counters are important. And sometimes the enemies are attacking your party members and not you. And you're like, hey, hit me so I can counter it and all that stuff. But yeah, like, you know, it was fun to play. uh it, Sometimes I would be in these rooms that were too dark, so I would try to raise the brightness so I could see in there, but then the next room would have just awful bloom and like washed out light everywhere. So I'm just really mad now that they didn't just apply this like gameplay to say a game that actually looked like a modern take on Final Fantasy One, like, you know, more medieval,
Right.
like castles and people in armor. Thank God that at least when you equip like armor on your characters, it shows up on him, so he's not just wearing that awful
Oh,
like
okay.
T-shirt. So
Yes.
thank God. And there's a performance mode and a fidelity mode, so it wasn't like 60 frames per second constantly, but
It's a demo. It's a
that
yeah.
was something. Although it's weird because the cutscenes, no matter what, are in like the bad looking 30 frames per second thing. It's not like they're pre-rendered because like my guy was wearing the armor I put on him, so
Right.
that was
Okay.
weird. But like, yeah, so I don't. I guess I'm not furious anymore. At least it plays well. But again, now I'm like disappointed. Like, man, this could have maybe been something like really cool. And now maybe it's something where I'll power through all this aesthetic stuff that I heavily dislike just to enjoy the game. I know there's some people who like were saying before, like they don't care about any of that as long as the game's good. I do care about that.
Yeah.
It's going to just bum me out. Like this main character is awful. Was this whatever Josh or Ted? He has just like a normal last name. I can't remember now. I hate him. He looks bad. He's like they literally told voice actor like do your gruff voice, like do your like I'm a mean bad person voice. So
Right.
it's awful. And the other two characters aren't any better. So yeah, all the story and voice acting and graphics, like you know, gameplay is king. Yes, but when it's just surrounded by shit, right? If gameplay is the king of shit, it's not a very good kingdom.
Yeah.
So Will, like I'm not like I guess I'm not giving up on it somehow.
I
It's Jack. His name is Jack apparently. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
we got a bunch of names in chat suggested that there were, yeah, Ted, Final Fantasy, and Cock, of course, and I mean, and then Nick Turbo a little bit ago was like, because we've been saying he looks like a Hollister employee, he called him Hollister Chaos. Which if I've ever got to do like a drug test, like Ron Mexico when he like gave blood or whatever for like a drug test, or I can't remember, Mike, whatever. He put his fake name as Ron Mexico. Mine's going to be Hollister Chaos whenever I need a fake
There
identity.
you go.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I almost just wish the gameplay was garbage so I could just completely not care about this game now. But it's like, oh no, there's like it's like kind of like the final boss of the demo is very hard and it's Garland / chaos.
Yeah.
So and it like took me a while to beat it. It was like fun. Like, oh, I'm like learning and this is what Souls likes are like, right? Like, oh, this is neat. But gosh, then people would talk or there'd be a cutscene and or I had like I stopped and looked at my surroundings and I would get very mad. And especially because it really does seem like it doesn't even seem like it's a prequel to Final Fantasy 1. Maybe it is. It might just straight up be a retelling, which makes it all the weirder. I don't know. I don't want to talk about this game anymore till it comes out. We'll see.
The Nintendo Direct happened, and Mike, if they were gonna make a perfect Nintendo Direct for me, what do you think would be in there?
Right. Well, the two big ones, right, would be what Advance Wars and WarioWare.
Yep, it really would be.
Bro, that was hilarious that both of those showed up.
It really was.
expecting it.
I was not, yeah, and I definitely was that Vince McMahon meme where it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I went like, Kazuya didn't do anything for me. Well, we should just kind of talk about some of this stuff in a little bit of an order. Let me ask you first. The Smash Brothers character reveal. How are you feeling about it? It's Kazuya from Tekken.
For Tekken,
Yeah.
It didn't do anything for me. That was a little, and again, it's just like a taste thing. I have not played a lot of Tekken, but even still, like, yes, we know that Nintendo has a good relationship with Bandai Namco, and there's a good amount of those characters in Smash Brothers, and now here's another one. Like also, we've seen Tekken characters in a lot of other fighting games. They've
Sure.
been in Soul Calibur, they've been in PlayStation All Stars. So whatever. I know that this is like technically not Heihachi or whatever the other one is. I think they're related. Everything I know about Tekken lore was from the bad live action movie and its sequel that I saw. So yeah, it doesn't do much for me. I was playing a bit of Tekken 3 on the PlayStation because I know people say that's one of the best ones. Oh, it's Koei Tecmo. It's not even Bandai Namco.
That's right, because it's Tekken. Wait, no, Tekken.
Because Tekken's Bandai Namco. That's
it's Namco. That's Namco. Yes. Yeah, the Tekken's definitely Namco. I remember.
Pablo, you scared me there because it's the same people that did Soul Calibur. Because Yoshimitsu's in both of them.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's Namco.
Yeah. So okay, Hayachi is Kazuya's father, and then there's like Hayachi's grandson is like another character.
Jen or something like
Yeah. Also, like when you look at the cast from that game, there are some characters who like look really cool. And as somebody who doesn't care very much, like that's just a guy without a shirt on.
Right. I'll say that the trailer, the reveal was very good. They did a good job of playing.
They did a very good job with the trailer.
Yes. Kazuya throws people in volcanoes, and he was just doing that over and over and over again in the trailer here. Very good stuff. And then, of course, he tries to throw Kirby in, and then Kirby just floats up behind him, and he's still looking down, trying to see if Kirby fell in the lava. It was very well done. I agree, though. There are cooler characters from Tekken that they could have put in there.
King.
King.
Right?
King would have been great for me because I like it. He looks different. He looks fun. He's wearing he either is a tiger or he's got like a tiger mask. Yeah. I think I can't remember.
Or you can do Yoshimitsu and it could be Soul Calibur and Tekken, right?
Yeah,
I like
totally.
Soul Calibur more than Tekken.
I liked Tekken 7 a lot when it came out. I'm like, this is actually a really good fighting game.
No, I know these are. I know they're very good. And I bet if I played more of them, I would get into them. I just never really did. So at some point, I might have more affinity for Tekken. So it just happens to not be a great thing for me. I don't know how the Smash community at large feels.
Poorly, I think. They're reacted pretty poorly.
I'm not a big. I mean, everyone hypes themselves up into thinking it's going to be like Cloud. Or not Cloud. I mean us. He's already in like Sora from Kingdom Hearts or Master Chief, right? Like a lot of people were actually telling me they thought it was going to be Master Chief. And I was like, I was right though. Everybody seemed to think we were getting both of them, and I was like, we're probably just getting one.
You called that, and I think you were right to say that, obviously, because that's what happened.
Clearly, you think I was right?
Yeah,
I think I was right too, considering it was right.
Yeah. Let's see.
They better do something. So last time, the last one they announced was literally the Fire Emblem character. I think this time they better have a pretty good one for the last one. It'd be hilarious if it was a Fire Emblem character again.
God, that would be a nightmare.
That,
yeah,
but I don't think everyone else would.
Some smaller stuff before we get to some of the other things. So after Kazuya, we got Life is Strange is coming to the Switch. Something I had heard a long time ago, and they finally announced that. Guardians of the Galaxy, that new game, is coming to the Switch. It's going to be the cloud version, although I wonder if it won't be the cloud version if you get it on Switch Pro, but it seems like even then they might just do the cloud version because that'll be easier.
When the Switch Pro comes out in like what?
Yes, exactly.
Summer 2022. I don't know.
Yes. I guess they did not announce the Switch Pro, and I guess maybe we can close this out by talking about that.
They basically said they weren't going to, so yeah, sure.
Right? Yeah, we knew it. Yeah, we knew it was going to happen, but still, like we can maybe talk about when we think it is going to happen now. Super Monkey Ball Mania or Banana Mania. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get a new Super Monkey Ball.
Monkey Ball 2 was awesome, man. Monkey Billiards. The mini games in that were incredible. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a really good early GameCube game, and now of course the series had a bunch of entries after that, but it's coming back, and that's kind of the theme here is sort of older franchises coming back now and getting another chance on the Switch. And then, of course, one of the best-selling games in the history of the Nintendo Switch is getting a sequel in Mario Party Superstars.
You're actually not wrong, huh?
Yes, 15 million copies sold, like easily outselling almost anything on the PlayStation 4. Mario Party Superstars is basically a best-of collection of Mario Party 1, 2, and 3 for the Nintendo 64, and it's going to have like 5 maps, 5 basically, playboards from those games. and a bunch of modes from those games, but all remade to look like basically Super Mario Party.
I'm into this. Like, as somebody
Good.
who really liked Mario Party most during those Nintendo 64 days because I'm old, yeah, that's great. That's what I am looking for from Mario Party.
It
So I
is.
think that's pretty cool.
It is launching October 29th, and it is going to launch with online multiplayer. The first time a Mario Party game will have online multiplayer at launch.
That's crazy.
So,
That's crazy.
yes. Okay, the next thing on this list here I have is Metroid Dread.
Why did you try to ruin this for me?
Okay, Mike. Listen.
I was so look. I was so excited. I was so happy. They show it. It's Metroid 5. We're finally getting like a sequel to Metroid Fusion. It looks really good. It looks cool.
Oh, it looks really good.
And then I go on Twitter. What looks wrong with it, Jeff? It looks completely fine. At the worst, it looks fine.
I think it looks fine. I agree. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
No, I'm on the borderline.
Can we just new 2D Metroid? No. We get new 2D Metroid, first like new one in 19 years, and you have to be a wet blanket about it.
I want to love it uninhibitedly, but I'm like on the borderline where it's like I think it might look bad, but no, it does look fine. And when they played it, when they did the gameplay demo, it looked better. But still, Mike, literally yesterday, not even 24 hours ago, Mike Minotti said Nintendo needs to stop doing 3D games on a 2D plane. That's like basically how we ended our show yesterday. So don't come to me for echoing you.
Okay. I didn't think we actually thought they weren't going to do that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, right.
To be clear,
it looks okay.
Nintendo,
You're right. It looks pretty
they're
good.
all going to look like this. Like, and I get it. I agree. I wish that they would do something more interesting with their 2D games aesthetically. They are not going to, right?
Yeah.
We know that whenever they show the next Kirby game, it is going to be 3D character models. Whenever there's a new 2D Mario game, that's what it's going to be. And I do agree. I stand by what I said where I agree with that. And I think I was also, I said some things before 2D Metroid came out where I was like, yeah, like how exciting is that going to be? And, because in this world where we have Hollow Knight and Ori and they're such good looking games, and it's, graphically, it doesn't look as good. And I think you agreed with me with that. The difference is that once I finally did see 2D Metroid, I stopped caring because I was just so excited to get a new Metroid. And
you're not wrong.
But you're a cynical asshole. So
yes, absolutely. I don't want people to have nice things. I am looking at it right now, and you're right. More than anything, I just want to play it. Yeah. If I could have any one game from this show to play right now, it actually probably would be Metroid Dread.
And look, like, oh, sorry, you go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say, like, they said this is going to basically end Samus's story with the Metroids, and I think what they mean is like, yes, it's going to be Metroid 5 or like the follow up to like the Fusion storyline and everything else, and that's. To me, that's like interesting. I want to see what they mean by that. I hope there's not a lot of story. I hope most of the story happens in the gameplay and in the environment.
I think they learned their lesson from Other M, not to do
I hope
too
so.
much
Yes,
story.
like looking at it, I think you're right. But yeah, it basically just I keep forgetting the name of it. That epic Metroidvania game. I want to call it Steel Cage, but that's not right.
Hollow Knight?
No, the Epic Games one.
Epic Games, Shadow Complex.
Shadow Complex. I can't. Right. Yes. Yeah. Not. Yes.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I mean, that's where the free aim thing started, right? Which
I think so.
They adopted for Samus Returns. So sure.
And listen, I think that here's my thing with Samus Returns. It was pretty solid. But they focused more on combat than the exploration, I think. And so like it made like the combat almost got in the way of the exploration. And I hope they find a better balance here. Like the free aim stuff and the combat was more interesting than just standard Metroid combat, 2D Metroid combat. But I am there for the Metroidvania aspects of like figuring out these environments and exploring them that way. And they had a lot of that, but I think the balance was just a little bit off. I hope that they figure that out with this one. I am very interested in playing it though.
Just looking at the kind of longer demo they did in the treehouse, it seems more like that. I like Samus Returns. I do agree with you. Maybe a little heavy on the combat. Like I thought that the melee counter was cool.
Yeah,
but it felt like you really used that thing
all the time. Yeah.
So, but, I mean, there's almost a little bit of a Resident Evil nemesis thing there. There's like a guy who chases you sometimes, or Metroid Fusion. Moments like that with the evil Samus thing in that game. I'm just really excited that we've been hearing like, 2D Metroid's coming. And what's funny is that this is actually Metroid Dread, that game that somebody
Yes.
took like a picture of a banner 15 years ago at E3 before it opened, and then when E3 opened, it was gone, and we were all like,
Yes.
"What the heck?" And like literally at some point, they were going to announce it at E3 for the DS 15 years ago, and then like, never mind, we're canceling it at the last moment, I guess.
Yeah, this is
And apparently, then like in between then and now, they tried again at some point and it didn't work out. So like here it is. It's finally just Metroid Dread. That actually was a real video game all along, and now we're playing it this year.
right. So just real quick from the Metroid fandom page, Metroid Dread was first announced in the June 2005 issue of Game Informer, and further details emerged on the magazine's online forums. According to the forum moderators, the game was a 2D side-scroller being developed for the Nintendo DS, with its plot following the events of Metroid Fusion. So yeah, like this, and this is the thing that, they've tried again and again to do it. It's wild that they are really just doing Metroid Dread. That's pretty cool.
So excited. I'm so excited.
2010s,
Like when it said Metroid 5, because we never knew like what this would be.
Right.
New 2D Metroid game. What does that mean? Because Super Metroid, it's not called Metroid 3, but like when you play it, it says Metroid 3. Same thing with Metroid Fusion. When you start it, it does at some point say Metroid 4. So like the fact that we're back to that lineage after 19 years, like ultimately, what does that mean? Maybe nothing, but it excites me for some reason.
Right. And so Yoshio Sakamoto is producing this with Mercury Steam doing the development, but Sakamoto is been very heavily involved in Metroid, like oversaw Super Metroid, so going all the way back. And he said that they had it, and then I'm still reading from the Metroid fandom thing. On May 3rd, 2010, the 75th episode of IGN's Nintendo Voice Chat podcast, they said editor Craig Harris confirmed that the story for Dread was fully written, and he has seen it. He had seen it at one point, and he claimed Nintendo has it and can bring it back at any time. I think this is what's happening. They had it and they just brought it back, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Well, I think once they did that remake of Metroid 2, and they're like, hey, these guys can just make Metroid Dread now.
Yeah,
why not? And that's what's happening. Oh, I can't believe I'm going to play a new 2D Metroid game in like a few months. I'm so excited. So yeah, don't ruin it for me, Jeff. You son of a bitch.
You know what? You're not wrong. I don't want me to ruin it for me either. So yes, I'm fully like ready just to get into the hype.
Right.
WarioWare. There's a new WarioWare game. What the hell? This is incredible. I mean, even when they did that,
cool.
Even when they did that, the thing where they asked people, "Hey, would you pay $50 for it?" And I saw that. I'm like, I still don't think they're going to do anything with WarioWare. And so to get something real so close after that is very exciting. And it looks like a new take on WarioWare. So it's WarioWare Get It Together. It's coming September 10th. And in this game, instead of just pressing buttons to interact with micro games where, like you're playing a finger and the finger goes back and forth and you put it in the nose, this time you are playing as Wario actually on the screen interacting with all these games or one of the other characters.
It's also micro games, but you're controlling this kind of 2D platformer character to do all of the micro games.
Yes, and I think that is a really good spin on it. When I was like, it might be too complex for what micro games are supposed to be. It might be kind of against the spirit of what WarioWare should be. And then when I watched the Nintendo Treehouse Live thing about it, and I'm like, no, this is going so fast, and it's and they're still like, they feel exactly like micro games always felt. Like, it's just the interactions have changed a little bit, and like, oh, that's like a new spin on it, and this is a good idea. I like this.
And now that they're doing this, they can do 2-player co-op because you can like be like, well, that's my character. Who's your favorite WarioWare character aside from Mario? You have a favorite?
Yeah, I think either the big Afro guy or 18 Volt. I really like 18 Volt, the big guy that's like 9 Volt's buddy.
9 Volt's buddy. Yeah, I'm an Ashley fan. I just like her song.
Yes, they're all great though. Is the thing. All of these characters are really fantastic.
Is Mona the pizza girl? Mona's the hot one, right? The sexy WarioWare
the very sensual WarioWare character. Yes, the doctor, the guy with the cyborg guy.
Yeah,
he's
the
cool
weirdo
too.
guy. He's a little too weird for me.
I like him
too much.
I like him a lot. And then mechanics, the cat and dog mechanics. They're also great. If you ever played the WarioWare games, it is an entire universe of these cool Wario characters that you never see in any other franchises. But basically, it's just Wario is trying to make money because he's greedy. That's his entire character. And his plan to make money is to make video games, which someone should have told him that was a bad idea. But he makes video games, and they're micro games, and you just play them like they serve you up these micro games in 10 or 15 at a time, one right after another in 5-second chunks. Like these games last 5 seconds, and then you're on to the next one. And it really is like stick your, like, just time it so the finger goes up the nose, or like, you know, shave someone's face like really quickly by doing the right button movement. Or on the Game Boy Advance, there was the Twisted, or maybe it was DS, I can't remember, the Twisted game where it actually had motion controls on the handheld, and it was just, it's a really good franchise. If you have a 3DS or 2DS sitting around, go get WarioWare Gold. It collects like all the best games from the previous games into one package. It's fantastic, and it didn't sell very well because it came out after the Switch came out. But they're doing a new WarioWare, and I am very excited. I really love this franchise.
Yeah, that's cool. It's also weird having a trailer with Wario talking to us for a while in like full sentences, right?
Yes, totally. Yeah, he's like, it's a me. What do you mean? Who is it? I'm Wario. I'm like, oh man, right. Charles Martinet is going to town on this. All right.
Yeah. How is it gonna be if we ever have Mario talk to us that like?
I mean,
like
that movie.
Long term.
I'm really wondering what that movie's gonna be like.
Yeah, because like Mario's probably gonna actually talk, and are they just gonna get Charles Martin? Aren't they? Like you kind of.
I mean, it would be a mistake to get anyone else.
What if it's a celebrity? What if they do that?
I mean, they might. They seriously might. Yeah, Will Ferrell as Mario. I wouldn't. I mean, I kind of want to see that, but yeah, that'd be a mistake. Mike, tell me about this Shin Megami Tensei 5.
It's Shin Megami Tensei 5. They announced this like way back, like the first like big Switch E3. So we knew this was coming, and now it's coming out this year. What was it, November or October? I forget. But yeah, this is just the next Shin Megami Tensei. So if you like your edgy JRPGs, the remaster of 3 just came out. People are liking that. It's not going to be for you, Jeff, but these are respected JRPG games.
Respected, okay.
Yes, absolutely. So that's nice.
Did you watch any of the Treehouse Live bit on it, or no. Are you already sold on this? So you're like, I'm just gonna play it when it comes.
No, I'm gonna play it when it comes. I mean, I'm not the biggest Shin Megami Tensei fan. Like, I'm playing through 3 pretty slowly, and I wrote about that on Retro Beat. But like, I like Persona more because it's a bit more like lighthearted and a bit more character focused. Like, Shin Megami Tensei is very dour and almost leaning into like dungeon crawlerness. Like, it's more atmospheric than it is like story driven.
Sorry, your brother just sent a super chat and freaked me out.
My brother just gave me a lot of money. Hey, thanks, Chris. Sucker.
Thank you, Chris. I apologize for your brother. I'm sorry that you were stuck with Mike Minotti and I wasn't your brother.
He just didn't want to be outdone by what yesterday we had our first red super chat. He didn't want to be outdone.
I think the universe made a mistake. Chris, we should have been brothers this whole time is what I'm trying to say to you. Okay, Danganronpa. Oh, man, there's some bullshit in here. I'm sorry. I know people. No, I know people love Danganronpa. I just never have even tried it.
Yeah, I've never tried to. Maybe I will now. There's a bit of a Phoenix Wright flair to those games,
yes,
right? Like that's what people
absolutely.
compare it to. So, like, what am I doing here? Maybe I should try that.
Yeah. And then when is that coming? That is, they did not give a date, but I think it's coming this year. Fatal Frame. Anything?
I've never cared about that franchise.
Same. Okay. Well, then the other thing that really made this show for me, I teared up, Mike, when they announced Advance Wars. I really did.
It was the last thing I was expecting.
It was. I just never
to ever come back.
I accepted that it was dead. I made my peace with it because I'm like, this. It's not Fire Emblem, right? Like the whole problem is it's not Fire Emblem.
There's no waifus. I mean, there kind of are, and I think they're doing a good job. Maybe
amplifying the waifu.
Know about the waifus. Yeah, amplify the waifu-ness of these games, and maybe they'll have a hit.
Yes, exactly. And it's got like, I'm looking at the trailer, and the thumbnail is Max, who is definitely a husbando as well. So like,
husbandos and waifus.
Yeah,
let's go.
Absolutely. And so you're right. They are amplifying the waifus and husbandos, and it's but it doesn't have like relationship mechanics and stuff like that.
No, you don't marry them and have their children.
Yeah, exactly. So I never thought that it was like going to come back because like there's clearly one of these franchises that is very similar, but it's much more about the characters and people are really attached to those characters and they tell their stories and they want to go back and replay them. And I'm like, Advance Wars is just kind of like this military take on this without all that stuff. So it's just not going to make sense. But I was wrong, and they're doing Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. Pretty good name. Like yes, they're like saying it's a reboot. It is the first 2 games, that we got in the West, because this franchise actually goes all the way back to the
Famicom Wars.
Famicom. Yeah, Famicom Wars in Japan in 1988. But we didn't get it here until Advance Wars on the Game Boy Advance, and
it's funny. That's like, oh, that's why it's called, and now it's just called Advance Wars
yes.
here forever. Like,
yes,
I wonder
totally.
if it's called Switch Wars in Japan.
Yeah,
like,
it's a good question. Although the last Advance Wars never came out in Japan as like a physical game. They eventually released it on the 3DS as one of those games that was like an apology for how much the 3DS cost at first, and so it was like a 3DS ambassador program thing in Japan.
About Dual Strike?
No, Days of Ruin, I think, is what it is.
Oh yeah, that one was a little like more quote unquote realistic-y, right?
Yeah, it was like edgy and stuff, and it was not as good. But yeah, they so like they never even got it in Japan until it came to the ambassador program. That's the only way it ever released in Japan. So I wonder if this franchise also just doesn't do well in Japan at this point. Well, Fire Emblem is the thing that does well there. So, but yeah, so Advance Wars is probably just the name like everywhere. Either way, I just did not expect this to come back. Now, this is another one where it's like the look, and it's very similar to Link's Awakening for me, where you know, this is a game I like, a game I love, and it's a look that was iconic for me. And now they're trying to update it because they're going to sell it for $60. They did this with Link's Awakening. They sold it for $60. These two games are being bundled together, and they're selling it for $60. So they're going to use 3D graphics because I think they need to sell a game for $60. And it doesn't look as good as like Wargroove, which is like a very similar to Advance Wars, but it uses pixel graphics, and I like that a lot better. But I don't think it looks bad. It still looks pretty. It looks good enough, and it's also like very clean and very crisp, and you could very easily tell what's going on, and that to me is like the most important thing in these games. So I kind of want to, and also when I played Link's Awakening, I got over it, and I was like, okay. Once I started playing it, like its charms won me over, and I feel like the same thing might happen here. So I kind of want to. Yeah. Give it a little bit of a break, give it a little bit of a pass, and honestly, just be happy that I'm getting Advance Wars, because I'm never ever thought it would happen. And if this game does well, like maybe we do get another one. So I know we got
a whole new one, and the actual like character portrait model things look really good.
Really
like, those
good.
Actually do just look great. They're like they're almost that sort of like Dragon Ball Fighter style.
Yeah, Arc System Works style.
Yeah, they look like 2D like animation characters, but the 3D models with just really good cell shading. So those look fantastic.
Yeah. The Andy there, it looks really good. Yeah, I'm looking at the trailer.
Jedi Moss just sent a super chat. Way Forward is a confirmed dev for Advance Wars. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
That makes sense.
That's nice. That's real exciting. I'm glad that Way Forward is doing one of these remakes.
River City Girls, they know about waifus now.
Yeah,
they're ready.
You remember that thing when that Way Forward was when they did Bakugan and everyone was trying to like come up with games? I never would have even guessed Advance Wars then. So it's pretty wild that they're actually doing it now. Yeah, I hope that game does well. It's coming out December 3rd. I hope
That's crazy, man. We're gonna play a new Advance Wars. That's so much fun. I'm so excited.
Yep, this is really, really fantastic. And that's what, when that happened, I'm like, okay, they did it. They won me over. This easily was like the best thing for E3 for me. Yeah, I'm sure.
You got WarioWare, and then you got Advance Wars. Like, wow, they're really just making.
But then also like a 2D Metroid, which is absolutely one of my favorite things as well. So it's like,
but I was mad at you at the time because I couldn't talk to you, and you were just dunking on it, and I was like, I guess we're not friends anymore.
Okay. I think now we go into the Zelda stuff. There's Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity expansion pass.
It was hilarious how at first we have just one more announcement.
Yes. Oh my god, this is devastating.
Warriors, like, oh no. I was like, clearly they didn't actually mean one more, like a collection of announcements. But yes, I was like, I do not care about Hyrule Warriors. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me neither. I just do not like those games. They really, I think they're a bummer to play. But some people are into those games. Some people really like Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity specifically. Good for them. They did show that I think now you can play as one of the big crawler things from Breath of the Wild. Guardians, yeah, and that's
your favorite game ever. They're called Guardians, Jeff.
I'm sorry. It's E3. My brain is not recalling any information right now. I'm looking at you. I don't even know your name right now, honestly.
It's Jeff.
Skyward Sword HD, still coming.
It's coming. They're selling it. There's a bit of that, right? Like we saw Mario Golf and other things that we know are coming, and of course they're going to sell them a little bit here. Fine, But yeah, I'm excited for Skyward Sword. I liked that game originally, and I think it's going to benefit from being on the Switch pretty well.
Agreed. And then there is the Zelda themed Game and Watch, which I also very excited about because it has Link's Awakening in it. And I'm like,
Link's Awakening. It's funny because they said 3 games. I'm like, well, Zelda 1 and 2. What's the third one?
Yeah,
it must be Link's Awakening.
Right. As soon as they said, and I was like, they're showing Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and I'm like, it's gonna be Link's Awakening, and it was, and it looks really good on that screen, and it really is just like the original Game Boy game. I think they even tinted it a little green, like pea soup green as well. So it's like, I'm like, wow, they really nailed this. This is fantastic, and I like that Mario one.
You ever played much of Zelda 2?
I try it all the time, and I think you played it recently with the guide, right? And you told me, and I'm like, I started doing that, and I'm like, okay, this is working for me a lot better now. I just need to actually do it.
There's a YouTube channel I found called You Can Beat Video Games, U with a U, and they just do like these video guides for like NES games. You kind of like play along, and they do it for Zelda 2. But I love watching these videos, but it's also it really helps beating these old NES games in a pretty fun way. So maybe I'll send that your way.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be fantastic.
Zelda 2 is super fun. It's just annoying because you get very lost and you don't know what's going on. But like the gameplay is great.
I really wish they would do a Zelda 2 remake from the ground up, and I think they could
get Way Forward on that next. Right?
Get Way Forward on that. It makes so much sense. Way Forward has literally made a Zelda 2 clone as a
Adventure Time.
Yeah, Adventure Time. Yeah, Adventure Time. Yes, them. Yeah.
Was it? What's that, guys? I don't really watch that. Frost King. What'd you do with our garbage or something?
What'd you do with it? Right. Yes, Ice King. What'd you do with our garbage? Why are you stealing our garbage or something?
I only watch sophisticated children's shows like Steven Universe. I didn't watch Adventure Time.
My girls are very into Steven Universe right now.
Really?
I just put it on. Yeah. They're young, but
did you know I love Steven Universe? I love Steven Universe.
I did totally. I remember you over the summer or maybe over the winter. You were saying how
you just like last year.
Yeah, last year you like went through it all and you were like really into it. I'm like, oh, okay, well it's on HBO Max. I'm just gonna go for it, and they're into it. So then they did their one more thing, which was a new trailer for Breath of the Wild 2.
An actual trailer.
The first real trailer for it, and boy, it looks.
That I lowered my expectations to the point of like maybe we were just going to have Anuma say this game's still in development. So the fact that we saw anything, I was like, oh good, I'm happy. I
was in the exact same place, and then they started showing it, and then it was it starts off with like that purple weird magic stuff that like might be Ganon related, and so I'm like, oh, is it just gonna be like a bunch of text on screen, maybe like saying, oh, it's still in development, and then it starts going into real gameplay, and boy, it looks fantastic. It looks so good. I got chills watching it. It looks so good. He starts falling through the sky like he's in Fortnite, and I'm like, okay, this is incredible. So it really is pulling on Skyward Sword vibes, right?
It is, right?
So I think like he might be wearing the Skyward Sword outfit a little bit. It's what it looks like. I guess I can't remember.
I didn't really pick up on that, but I mean, the sailcloth is of course there. It was in Skyward Sword, but there's a lot of like floating continent elements, and I'm not super sure. Is it like a lot of the old map with these kind of floating continents?
Yes, that's what he said.
The quote unquote old map will be updated, right?
Yeah.
So some people were like freaking out about that. Whatever, that doesn't bother me. That's fine.
No.
Yeah. So I think that's a good way to sort of add onto it, right? Like literally you're adding another quote unquote floor or another layer onto the old world. Yeah. And there's like some weird like ability where you kind of like dug through the bottom of one of like the little island things and was on the top side. Also reminded me of the drill claws from Skyward Sword and Minish Cap. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I mean, look, it's Breath of the Wild 2. Breath of the Wild 1 is great, and this also looks very good. Do you think this was running on Switch Pro hardware, Jeff?
There was a time during it that I thought, yes, it definitely is. I can't remember. Like, I'm trying to like see what it was. I guess it's not necessary that it were. It could have been just like regular Switch hardware, but I bet if they have Switch Pro hardware sitting around and they are testing these games, they're definitely testing it all on there. Yeah. So when they put together a trailer, that's the footage they're going to have. It really does look like it's probably Switch Pro hardware. I don't know. I can't wait to play this, but we're going to have to wait. They said 2022, and they did not say it's 2022. They said the words, we're aiming for 2022. Let's
assume holiday 2022 for now, right?
Yes.
It's still a ways off. And I think we all also got our expectations in check for that like a week or so ago. Like this game's not going to come out.
Yeah, for the last few weeks, I've been I've heard nothing about this game coming in 2021. And everyone I've talked to has been like, I'm in 2022. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that seems right. But now, now I'm like thinking it could easily slip into 2023. And
I'm not willing to accept that reality yet.
That's fine, but I think that might be the reason why Nintendo threw your hopes into the river like that little piggy in Wind Waker, because we did not get Wind Waker plus Twilight Princess bundle like I've heard is happening, and a bunch of people have heard as well. So, how are you feeling about that, Mike?
I mean, I that's what we said yesterday, right? Like, it seems like the bare minimum thing, and I feel like we're not going to get somehow. And I guess I was right. But I'm fine because everything else was good, so it didn't matter. Like, I'm not gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater here. Like, I'm not gonna I'm gonna throw a tantrum because I didn't get some ports. Right. But it is weird, right? And he even made a point of saying at one point he was like, there's not gonna be anything else for Zelda this year after Skyward Sword, by the way.
For Zelda's 35th anniversary, we don't have any other campaigns or games planned for the Switch. Is basically how he put it. But we do have this, and that was Game & Watch. And so to me, it's like, they are very clearly saying they're not doing Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, or anything else. Like, no
Zelda 99 or anything like that.
Right, exactly. So it's like, okay, to me, this sounds like they have Breath of the Wild 2 pushed out in their minds at least to holiday 2022, and then if it slips into 2023, they're still going to want to release a Zelda game next year, and so they're going to keep Breath of the Wild, they're going to keep Wind Waker / Twilight Princess in their pocket, just like they've done with a lot of games. We know they did this with Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I think they're also doing it with Metroid Prime Trilogy. Not positive, but pretty sure. But we know they did it with Pikmin 3 Deluxe, where they had that game in their pocket for a really long time, and then they found a window for it after it had been finished for quite some time, and then they released it. And I think they're probably doing the same thing here with this collection.
I mean, it's hard to imagine they're just never going to release that on the Switch,
it's very difficult to fathom
why
that.
Why not? But it's Nintendo. Like, why don't we have Mother 3? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the kind of, I guess we can kind of talk about this conference in general. I know me and you are happy, but then there's always people who I feel like no matter what Nintendo does, they're not going to be happy with it. But it's because Nintendo can be so many things. Yeah. So there's a lot of people who, like, the big thing they want to see is Bayonetta 3, and then, it doesn't show up, so you're going to be disappointed. Then that's kind of one of their things. There's so many things that we almost expect to see, and of course we're not going to actually see all of them, right? There's that Donkey Kong thing that didn't happen, or anything, in the mainline Mario series, or the Metroid Prime 4. They actually said the words Metroid Prime. I was shocked we even got that much, right? But I think overall, I thought that was a very good show. Oh my god, what are you doing with Vince here?
So if this is the scale, 1 through 4, because that's how many options you could have on Twitter, so that's what I have here. But if you were watching the show, what'd you end up at? Like, because for me, I was at 4 multiple times throughout this conference, and I think when I look back and I look at it overall, I think I still am a 4, just because it's so much stuff for me. Like, if they did have a Wave Race or a 1080 snowboarding or an Excite Bike 64 2, absolutely cemented a number 4 for me without a doubt, or Metroid Prime 4 if they had that as well. Like, yes, but I'm like right on the border between 3 and 4 here. And for people who are listening, it's the Vince McMahon scale. So it's the thing where he's like in the chair and he's like, for number 1 is where he's like, oh, okay. And then number 2,
original, he had to be looking at something pervy. He probably had to just pay one of the poor women that work for him to like get in a bikini or something.
Yeah. I think it's what's her name in a short skirt. She's bending over. Not Trish. The one that was most famous and had the longest legs.
Stacy Keibler.
Yes, Stacy Keibler. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. You looked up. So you were looking at the poster on your wall that's just behind the computer. Is that what it was?
Which one was it? Was it Michelle McCool? Stacy Keibler. There it is.
Okay, so number 1 is okay, like he's kind of sitting up a little bit in his chair. Number 2, he like fully stands up. He's like, whoa. Number 3, he sits back down and kind of falls back a little bit because he's so blown away. And then number 4, he falls back like out of his chair. So for me,
do you want to know what it is or not?
I want to know what it is.
My answer?
I want to know your answer. I'm just explaining to the people listening. So go.
I know. It's a 3.
Okay.
That's because the height for me was Metroid, and it was kind of early. And I'm excited about WarioWare and Advance Wars, not quite as much as you. I think Breath of the Wild 2 looks very good, but again, was just a gameplay trailer. It looks great. It knows what's out. If we had gotten just like one more thing for me, and that one more thing could have just been Wind Waker, right? I may have bumped it up to a 4. But as it is, I'll say a 3. It was very good. It was better than I was expecting. I had really lowered my expectations, and maybe that helped a lot because my expectations had gotten very low.
Yes,
So they were surpassed.
same. Yeah, I think we were in like a kind of a dark place with this direct last night. I was like not expecting anything. And I'm glad that they got me like right there at a 4 multiple times. So I think they deserve to have that 4 from me. We got a lot of 3s in chat, which I think on the Vince McMahon scale, that 3 is like really strong, I think. So it's a good show for a lot of people. There's a few 4s in there. Natalie and Kel both giving it a 4. So yeah, represent.
2s. I don't see any 1s. Nobody's gonna. I don't think anyone thinks it's a 1. No,
yeah,
you already convinced me it was a bust. Obviously, even though he looks pretty happy in the 1 here, but you would
right, yeah,
in the Vince McMahon scale.
Yeah, the Vince McMahon scale. There were a few people on chat who were, or on Twitter who were like 0.5. I'm just like, what? I mean, I kind of want to just talk to you and have you explain to me what you want from Nintendo, but whatever.
I saw one person was like, "It's like they didn't even announce any new IPs." I was like, "Bitch, come on!
Yeah.
Like, you don't care about new IPs.
Get the fuck out of here with that."
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just. It was all well produced. It was really well paced. It was like a good version of a good Nintendo Direct. Like they've had some directs that were really good. They've had some directs that were pretty bad. A lot of it is based on content. Like, do they have the games people want? And here I think they have the games some people want a lot, and some people are like, oh, there's people who really care about WarioWare. I don't even know what that is. And but still, like you could see other people getting excited. So it's kind of still pretty easy to get excited, I think, for most people. I guess that does bring us to the other thing they did not announce, and we did not think they were going to. But I'm wondering, where do you think we get the Switch Pro now?
Man, I don't know if they talk about it this year at all. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so. Especially what you're going to tell people this holiday season that there's a newer, better Switch coming out after this holiday. So don't buy any Switches now. Hold off. I don't think so. And I mean, people always thought maybe Breath of the Wild 2 and Zelda 2 at the same time. So maybe that's still both coming out the fall, or maybe it's coming out with Rabbids as its game. Maybe that's kind of the backup now because Zelda's falling behind. I can't see it happening like early 2022.
Bathroom break. I'll be right back. I gotta take the kiddo to the bathroom. Be right back.
Okay. I thought I heard your wife calling for you. So I'll say March coming out in March. I was gonna say the earliest. Maybe hearing about it by March is the earliest. I don't know. All right, you guys get a musical interlude. What are we gonna play here? What are you gonna play? Oop. No, not huh. There it is. There it is. All right, I've been practicing my Chrono Cross. Let's see. That is the Lion King, by the way. Thank you guys for noticing. Nope. There it is. Hey. All right, that's enough of that. Hey, I get over that. There's a little Proto Man for you. He's coming. That's 4 notes. I don't got the rest of that. No, the D was okay. I was having some other issues there with like note memorization, but we're working on it. How to Train Your Dragon. I should learn How to Train Your Dragon. That'd be pretty good. I have to get on that one. I think it's on my tutorial page. I'm not ready for you to be back. I'm playing on my 10 whistle.
I'll be right back then.
Never mind. How'd the bathroom break go?
Oh yeah, pretty well. She really just wants my tablet so she could play a game, but she won't go sit down until she has my tablet. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. All the kids do these days. I know it's like a problem. My brothers get upset about it because they just pretend they have to go to the bathroom so they can have the tablet.
Yeah, thankfully I could tell she really had to go this time, but I know eventually she's gonna just do that. All right, so we were talking about the Switch Pro. I think that there's still a chance they announce it in a few weeks for release this fall, because a lot of it's like,
really?
Yeah,
Man,
really.
I don't know. I don't know. I've seen the clown makeup appearing on your face like
No,
right now.
totally. Yes.
I don't know.
No, you're not wrong. It could easily still be a clown where like I think this is still going to happen and I still want to get excited about it. I don't want to get excited about it anymore. It's not that. At this point, it's just once that train starts going for them and they have like, and they are telling partners, start showing games as Switch Pro games at E3. And when they start like production and stuff, like they're not going to keep these things in a warehouse. That's just going to be it's just going to cost them money. If they started producing them anytime soon, like they're going to have the chips ready, they're going to want to put them right into the bodies and put those bodies into boxes and then sell those boxes to retail because they're going to be in high demand. And why would they just spend the money on keeping them sitting around in warehouses until what? So at a certain point, like that train has left the station. They're just going to go forward as planned. I think the plan was always announce it after E3 for this fall and announce it about 2 months before it comes out. And that was never going to be at E3. It was going to be closer to September or something like that. And I think that all of the news stories we heard must have just been conflated with other things based on games that are running on Switch Pro getting shown at E3. And that threw some people off, I think. Where like, yeah, I mean, why would they do that if that wasn't announced? So,
well, because it's Nintendo, they'll do what they want. The one thing that does make me think this year is Arceus, right? Pokemon,
yeah,
what Legends or whatever. Like that game's supposed to come out in January, right? And it just looks rough as we see it, and we didn't see any more of it, which isn't too surprising. Pokemon kind of does their own thing these days, but like that sure could use a Switch Pro.
Yes, and I don't even know if Nintendo is going to worry about like having the games. Like the guy was their early report. Like they want to have games lined up to go with this, and I think they will. But I do think it's going to be stuff like Mario plus Rabbids in 2022, and like once those games come out, like the Switch Pro will be there and ready and waiting for it. I think, but I maybe I'm wrong.
2022 is already shaping up to be a pretty good year for the Switch because you have Mario Rabbids, you have Splatoon 3,
you got Arceus,
and Breath of the Wild 2. So that's all right. And it's weird that we actually know that many because, like, everyone was freaking out this year because we didn't know, right? We had no idea what games were going to be coming out for the Switch this year. Like, we did not know we were going to get a new WarioWare and a new Advance Wars and a new Metroid.
Sorry, the Bandai Namco show is starting right now, and I kind of want to just have it on in the background in case they do anything with Elden Ring. Because if they don't, I'm gonna gloat.
What's the game that they said they're showing? House of Ashes. What is that?
So I think that is the new sort of it's the thing from that developer that does the horror games where you make choices, and I can't remember, but it has like the actors in it, and you like control the story, and like the story can go different every time. I'm not into them, so I can't remember. Maybe people in chat will be able to help out there.
Okay, then.
Let's see. I'm gonna bring it up.
So CD Projekt Red, huh? Their game's getting sold for this PlayStation Store again. That's exciting for them.
Yeah, 6 months later. Can I say it really does feel like they were just in a 6-month penalty box? Because what has really changed that game? I know they've done some updates, but it still is going to be kind of bad on PlayStation 4.
They even said as much, right? Like they said, hey, we still recommend you play this on PlayStation 4 Pro or PlayStation 5.
Yes.
But you can buy it on PlayStation 4 now. So, I mean, gosh.
It's Dark Pictures. Sorry, real quick. It's Dark Pictures House of Ashes. It's that Dark Pictures anthology thing with all the horror games. But okay. Yes, it does.
Not my thing. So
same.
I'm not trying to be dismissive of it. I don't know.
Dark Pictures. Yes, people in chat. Thank you. Man of Medan.
Like a Dark Universe?
No, if it was Dark Universe, Mike, we would be all over. Our whole show would be a Dark Universe podcast. Of course. Man of Medan and things like that. Okay. Until Dawn Dev. Thank you, Nick Turbo. Cyberpunk 2077 feels irrelevant. 6 months later, Mike Minotti, you are correct.
Who cares? Like,
I don't.
When this happened, it was like, oh, who's covering it? For a bit, I was like, why? Do we care anymore? I guess it's a morbid curiosity at this point.
Yes.
I don't know.
The reason we cover it is because when it happened, Cyberpunk 2077 get delisted and all the problems was one of the biggest stories in the world. I don't do people remember this? Like when that happened, it was getting covered by local news stations, and Jeff Gerstmann was going on German television and giving interviews about it. Like it was the biggest thing. Yeah. And so we cover it as to like sort of put an end cap and also say, hey, is there still traffic here? And I don't think anyone cares anymore. I really don't. It was never a great game. It was always just an okay game, and it was.
Oh my gosh! Remember, people were mad at you for giving it a 3 out of 5.
And now they're mad because like that's too high, and I'm like, I will strangle you.
Yeah,
I will
that's the
strangle
crime of
you.
those people.
Yes.
Like, to be clear, you're one of the lowest scores.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
It was it's baffling, but I don't know what's changed. So to me, this just feels like Sony saying, "Yep, 6 months. Like you're going to pay that's the penance. That's your punishment, and now you're out of the penalty box. So you can start selling your game again." It doesn't feel like it has anything to do with the state of the game. Instead, it just feels like the relationship between Sony and CD Projekt Red, and that's it. But I don't know. I wouldn't recommend buying that game digital anyhow. Get it physical, and then if you don't like it, go ahead and sell it. I guess it's probably not going to be worth much either, but whatever. Do you think that what do you think the future of CD Projekt Red is? Do you think they're just going to rush out and do the next Witcher as soon as possible?
Yeah. That's what they should. Yeah, absolutely. They're gonna want to make a big Witcher game. I wouldn't be too shocked if like a shoe drops at some point here where we find out those ambitious DLC plans for Cyberpunk are just abandoned, right? Like maybe they should be, honestly. No, like they're gonna have to go back to the well, and it's gonna be like a little bit embarrassing. But if they can make a really good Witcher game, maybe it'll be okay. But can they? Witcher 3 was really buggy too. But back then it was like, oh, this is like, part of the charm. This is a smaller Polish developer or whatever. But then people kind of forgot that stuff and just thought, oh, Witcher 3, one of the biggest games ever. So, of course, like the next thing these guys do is going to be the biggest game of all time. And that was the expectation. And now we're at this real low point. So I don't know where it goes from here. It felt like they're on the verge of becoming one of the biggest studios, right?
Yes.
And now that's not happening. Like you had your shot and you missed.
Let's talk about what's really important here, and that is me taking a victory lap. Elden Ring was not at E3. Like, they just finished up the Bandai Namco thing. Elden Ring wasn't there. What did I tell you? Elden Ring was not going to be at E3, and it wasn't. It was specifically given to someone who wasn't E3. They didn't even follow up on it, show more gameplay. They didn't even show the same trailer again. It wasn't at E3 because they didn't want it associated with E3. They went to Jeff Keighley. God damn it. Just listen to me a little bit, people. That friggin' our Elden Ring subreddit. You just listen to what I'm saying. I'm not trying to mislead you. But yeah, I should have made some more pizza bets there and again, just feasted for days.
You got me so hungry with that pizza.
Yo,
I'm getting a pizza
do you have Donato's in your area? I know I know you have your local place, but like Donato's is all over the place in Columbus.
No, we don't.
They started in Columbus, I think. But yeah, we just got it out here because they started placing them inside Red Robin's, and so I could just like order pizza.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's like their whole expansion plan. It's been working out great.
I haven't been to a Red Robin in forever either.
Red Robin's very good too. Baby. Yeah, the garlic fries. People, go get a pizza tonight. Go treat yourself.
Yeah, I agree with Dash. You can't post a picture of pizza that late. I got way too hungry while I'm in bed and trying to sleep. So
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but hey, well, for me it was like 10:30 p.m. It was like the pizza hour, right? But I realized some people, a lot of people. So? I don't know. For me, like 10:30 on like a really busy day feels like the pizzaing hour. Okay. But hey, yeah, I get your East Coast, so like I was too late for you. Yeah, that pizza is a slam though. It was really good. It was really delicious. And for people that don't know what I'm talking about, I made a pizza bet with someone who said like, oh, all these predictions you're making about Microsoft aren't going to come true. If even one of them doesn't happen, you're going to owe me a pizza. And so I was like,
all those games you said weren't showing. Yeah. Like, I bet one of those games shows. Like,
yeah.
I bet not.
Yeah. And I got a pizza. Yeah. Definitely, it felt like taking advantage of inside information, but I mean, that's what I was saying it was. So why'd you make the bet? Yep.
Yeah, you knew everything about Microsoft. You knew that one was. It was weird with Nintendo because we didn't know. So
we didn't know anything, but no one knew anything. I was asking around last night, like last minute, and everyone's like, no idea. Right.
Even like Metroid, the Metroid 2D thing was just something we've been guessing forever. We thought that was going to show up at like last year's E3.
Right. We had heard that, but we haven't heard it recently, and we haven't heard it associated specifically with E3. But we also heard it alongside Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. So it's like.
I think we were maybe expecting it this year because it's like, well, like what else can there be, right?
That's right.
They're gonna do something with Metroid eventually here.
Fortune. With weed, the pizza hour is 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Thank you, Fortune.
See, I'm a good Christian boy, so that's why I thought that seemed late to me. All right, Jeff. Let's put a cap on E3 here a little bit. Who had the best show?
Personally, I think Nintendo had the best show. It was kind of hard to beat what they did for me personally in terms of like my all-time favorite games, and they're going back to those wells, and I like what they're doing with everything. reservations about visuals aside, I think 2D Metroid, Advance Wars, and WarioWare all are like looking exactly like the kind of games I want to play. They also look like, I wish I had those for the summer. They feel like good, fun summertime games, but they're coming later. Most of them are coming later this year, and that's fine.
You can roll a Final Fantasy 14 character this summer.
And then I won't, and go fuck yourself. No.
Wow, really?
Listen, Microsoft though really put together its best Xbox E3 conference ever.
Yeah, I like Nintendo games generally more than Microsoft games.
Same.
And I probably was more excited about Nintendo. And also, you told me everything Microsoft was going to do, so there's that.
Right.
I think Microsoft probably put together the best show here. Like the pacing of everything. My biggest complaint was the end. Like that didn't do very much for me. The big.
Have you gone back and rewatched it with the full knowledge in mind that it's an open world game instead of a Left 4 Dead?
I mean, yes, but I don't buy it. I don't know why.
Okay. No, that's fine.
I'm not calling them liars.
No, I don't buy the Stalker 2 demo. I don't buy the Stalker 2 demo. That's why I'm like I think if I fully believe the Stalker 2 demo and I was like completely sold on Redfall, I think Microsoft easily won E3. But as it is, even with that stuff, I'm like, objectively standing back, they definitely put on the best show. I think the most entertaining show with the most announcements, and it was very cool. But I don't buy Stalker 2, and at first the Redfall trailer did not do much for me. So I'm right there with you, right? That happens.
You're not convincing me that that's suddenly going to be like more Breath of the Wild and less Left 4 Dead. You know, like no, I think I know what they're going for with that. We'll see. Like I'm sure there's an open world element to it, but you could still make a Left 4 Dead-ass game with an open world element.
So then Microsoft and Nintendo both delivered delivered enough, right? So how do we feel about E3 overall?
Good, because those are the two people you wanted to deliver, right?
Yes.
That's what matters. And third parties have always been weird and uneven at E3, and we forget about it. And then when it happens again, we get upset. Now, granted, there was some spectacularly bad ones this year. Like Gearbox was weird. Capcom just like literally didn't announce anything, so I don't know what they were doing. And again, like what they showed was fine. Like, yeah, Ace Attorney, I like that. This looks good. You sure you don't want to announce a single thing here? No? Okay, that's fine. Square Enix's stuff just looked bad and was presented bad. So, like, again, like Final Fantasy Origin, I played that now. You could have made a trailer for that game that maybe just was... That was a game maybe you should have just had a gameplay, like, 2-minute segment of instead of a story-based trailer with a guy screaming the word chaos every 2 seconds. Right? But you know, like Ubisoft was pretty good, right? That was good. A lot of the indie showcases were good or great. So, you know, unless you don't really focus in on like the really bads, and they were bad, I think it was a good E3. I think. Yeah. And I know yesterday we were all feeling very bad about it because we were bombarded with like that Capcom thing, and there was nothing else that day. And it was one day too many at least. Like yesterday should just have not existed. We could have put limited run in with today, and it would have been fine, right?
Right. Yes, absolutely. And I think the issue is that those kinds of days do happen at E3. They're just the business days that people aren't watching live streams during. Or if they're watching live stream, they're just watching the Treehouse Live where they're going over games that were already announced. And they're not paying attention to all this stuff.
We're on the show floor doing our interviews and playing demos, right? So right. Like we're busy still.
And then we go to Take Two and we say, hey, what do you have? And they literally say, nothing. Do you want to drink? Or do you want to like rub shoulders with people? Yeah, absolutely. God, that looks really refreshing. Pour me some gin, please. Yes. But that's like, people don't see that at home. And so when it's put in this digital version where Take Two's like feels the need for some reason to fill in a slot, it feels really incongruent, and you notice it a lot more as a viewer at home. And that doesn't mean it's good and doesn't let them off the hook for being a bad presentation. But I'm just saying, if you ignore that and you focus on the good stuff was what we wanted to be and more. I think both in the case of Nintendo and Microsoft, it was better than I expected, at least for me.
All right, real quick, what's your game of the show? Because we have some questions we need to get to.
Yeah, we
can wrap up. So
I'm like looking at those. We have a ton of questions here too. So game of the show. Hang on real quick. We have so many questions, everybody, from Discord. Might save some of them for the Friday podcast, depending on what they are. Game of the show. Jesus. I mean, for me, it's Advance Wars, I think, or 2D Metroid, Metroid Dread. I think Although still, if I wanted to play any game right this second, I could. I really am like aching for that Battlefield 2042. It looked really good
too. I thought I feel like people aren't even talking about it that much, but I thought Battlefield looked really good. I'm more excited for that than Halo, probably.
I know, but like the Halo multiplayer thing that they showed, I'm like, oh, I want to definitely play this. But Battlefield 2042 just looked like a riot. It looked like so much fun. So. Yeah, those 3 games are easily kind of at the top, along with like WarioWare, of course, pretty much all the Nintendo stuff, and then Battlefield 2042. How about you?
Metroid, I'm super excited for Metroid.
Good.
I love Metroid. It's been, it's not very often we get a new Metroid game, right? So
yeah, I think
I'm really excited for that.
I think I'm gonna start one up. I'm not sure. Either I'll do a Super Metroid, or I think I might play the Zero Mission again. I haven't played that since it came out.
There you go.
I really like Zero Mission.
It was just like an announcement, but I'm excited for River City Girls too. And
yes.
Battlefield looks great. Forza Horizon 5 looks
yes, absolutely.
6,
that's going to be a great game
amazing.
To play this holiday. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, there's lots of good things.
Lots of good things. Okay, real quick, let me just read this question from Nick Turbo. He says, "Shut up, Grubb. Metroid Dread looks great." So that's his question.
That's how I was feeling at you. Yep. I was so mad at you. Because I was so excited.
I'm sorry. You're right. I don't want to bum people out about it. This is my own bullshit, and I'll deal with it on my own. That's fine.
That's right. There you go. That's
all right,
the way
Mike,
to handle it.
You got some super chats for us?
Yeah, Daniel Kumba here said Chaos demo, aka Final Fantasy Origin, is way better than the trailer. Yeah, I agree with that. Like the demo was fun enough to play.
Good.
Like the gameplay's good. It just looks ugly as sin.
That's a relief because that trailer is really bad.
The trailer was. I'll stand by it. Maybe one of the worst trailers I've ever seen. RDX, Son of a Fett, says the Halo Infinite release date at the Xbox event Thursday or at GDC. Is it going to be at any of those or either of those, Jeff?
I'm sorry, I missed the question because I was reading another one. Can you repeat it?
Wow, I told Jeff. How many times did I tell you? You can't multitask.
I have never claimed that I've been able to multitask.
Well, but yet you keep trying, and yet you keep trying.
There's so much happening. I got to run the stream. I got to deal with you existing. I got all the questions coming in.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot, right? Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry.
Listen to what I say to you, Jeff.
You're right. You're right. I'm
RDX
ADHD.
Effect has sent his hard-earned money to ask you this question.
I am sorry.
Pay attention for 5 seconds.
I'm sorry.
Will
I feel
Halo
bad.
Infinite release date be revealed at the Xbox event Thursday or at GDC?
Well, GDC. Oh, there is a summer GDC, isn't there? It's not going to be revealed at GDC. GDC is a developer conference. The only companies that have ever really made announcements at GDC have been Nintendo, and that's usually Nintendo's like, "Hey, developers, we got this like new hardware. Do you want to come develop for it?" I guess PSVR got announced around that same time. I think maybe. Whatever. I don't think it'll get announced at GDC. I don't think it's going to get announced this Thursday. It's going to be a few weeks from now. It's going to be holiday. They keep saying holiday because they don't mean September. Like people keep thinking September. They mean holiday. That gives them quite some time still before they announce an exact date. And really, I think they're going to want to do their next big like milestone check, see where the game's at. I think everyone's going to be feeling really good coming out of the E3 because all of the positive sentiments can be like, hey, everyone's excited about the multiplayer. Let's just make sure we nail that stuff and let's get this campaign in shipping order. And if we need to, we'll make some improvements afterward. But I think we'll hear about it in about a month or two. Seriously, like a month or two, we'll hear about the date.
From Pillar to Post says, I hope Arby's treats the 35th birthday of the curly fry better than Nintendo did with the 35th birthday of Zelda. Nintendo has created absolute chaos. Wow, is the curly fry not 35 years old already? It's such an American institution.
Right,
I assume that like George Washington had some
it's always been there
fries as he was crossing the Delaware.
Yeah, I cannot fathom my grandfather in World War II not eating curly fries. That's very hard for me to imagine.
Oh, my grandfather was in World War II, but he was fighting for the Italians. So,
God damn it, Mike.
Maybe they exchanged some bullets.
Motherfucker.
The T-Prince says, so WarioWare is real. Your first impression? I assume he's talking to you, Jeff. You're the WarioWare weirdo here.
I loved it. I loved everything I saw. It looks like so much fun. I will try the 2-player mode. I'm gonna see if my kids want to try to play it. They're not gonna understand what's happening, but I'm gonna get that day one and play the crap out of it.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's for sure. Stephen Lamb says Metroid Prime 4 lives. There is a god. A+ E3. Yeah, I am surprised they even said anything about Metroid Prime. Like just the fact that they said, like, yeah, we're working on that.
I missed it. Did they? I must have been heads down working something.
Yeah, before they introduced Metroid Dread. And now we're still working on Metroid Prime. But here's this. Now, I think especially considering how stacked next year looks, I think we can all maybe expect 2023 for Metroid Prime 4.
That
So
seems fair.
Let's not get anxious about like not seeing it for the next while here. Maybe at next E3 we'll see something on it, but yeah, that's still probably a ways away.
I was going to agree with you, but I've changed my mind. The Game Awards, we're going to see it, everybody. We're going to see it at the Game Awards.
No
Ride
way.
or die! Ride or die!
I don't know. We'll probably get the last Smash Bros. Character at the Game Awards, and that's it. So we'll see. Not Enough Napkin says, does Kojima love the smell of his own farts or just like them? Does he love or like his farts, Jeff?
I think, you know, it depends on the day and the, you know, how bad they smell. But most of the time, I think he loves them.
All right. I have a question for you. So it's like, so Jeff Keighley and Hideo Kojima are friends. What does that mean? Do they like hang out a lot? Are they like texting each other? Or is it just like
I bet they
friendly
text
on camera?
No, I bet they text a lot. I bet they text each other a lot. I wonder what that looks like. But you know, you're into sports a little bit, right? You know, like whenever there's like reporters talking about how, oh, I was texting this basketball player or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was texting, like, I bet it's like that sort of situation where Kojima's like, oh god damn it, Keeley again. But once they start talking, like Kojima's like into it and stuff. No, I bet they text, and I bet that is what their friendship mostly is.
Okay, Pixelated Pigeon says, I enjoyed Mike and Jeff's coverage of E3 far more than E3 itself. Keep up the great work, fellas. Hey, thank you, Pixelated Pigeon.
Thank you so much.
Pablo L says, is Switch Pro's absence so that they don't have to talk about price point for a console you won't be able to find this year anyway? Also, Breath of the Wild 2, 2023. Jeff said there's a chance. I think it's 2022. I don't know about that. I don't think they're that worried about the price points. I mean, price points, that's been the one weird thing about this Nintendo show in general. Is how much people want to talk about like that. That's like a talking point that comes up that I'm never very interested in. Is the new WarioWare really worth this much money, or is the new Advance Wars really worth? Are people going to pay $60 for a 2D Metroid? Like, I don't know. If they want to,
I think if you're not going to, don't. I think it's kind of where I've fallen on it at this point. Like, if it's too much money for you, that's totally legitimate. Don't pay money for it, then that's fine.
But then everyone turns into like market analysts where it's like it's not going to sell. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Everything seems to sell on the Switch,
game, right? So. There is some. Like, I know that doesn't seem like a good excuse for why like a Nintendo Advance Wars game can look worse than an indie one and cost more. But it is a Nintendo game, right? Like you're paying for that a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm. Elite Complex in chat real quick. He just says there's a pretty decent eShop sale right now, which I know people always want to hear about. So go check that out if you want to get some deals on games. I will be.
Buy Mega Man 11. Maybe then they'll make a new one in 4 years. Christopher Minotti, sounds like a loser, says this is to be used exclusively at Arby's and nowhere else. He's talking about the money he said.
How much did he give us? Just say it.
He gave us $100. So we each have $50 to spend on curly fries in French dip subs.
God damn, I will.
If I find it has been used elsewhere, I will come for you. I'm trying to diet too, Chris. You're doing this to me. I've actually have not been at Arby's too much lately. I still go like once a week, but I've tried to hold back a little bit. But now I have to go like every day to burn this $50 on curly fries. I hope we get the sponsorship just like I awkwardly go into my home to Arby's and like tell them about it.
Yes.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey. So I'm an Arby's influencer. Yep.
I'm an Arby's ambassador. They'll probably look at me.
Yeah, they'll be like, this is what I talk about. They'll be like, okay, do you want something? Like, just tell us what you want, please. And I love that. That's what I want. Absolutely.
Victor Marinez says, Danganronpa? Is that how you say that?
Danganronpa. Fuck, now I don't know. You fucked it up. Just
I don't know. To be clear, it's so weird. Danganronpa, Shin Megami Tensei 5, and Advance Wars got me excited. Also, love you, Mike. You and Spawnwave are the only ones who pronounce my last name correctly. Oh, thank you. Look at that. I can't pronounce Danganronpa, but Marinez I can get.
What was the question, or are they just saying thank you?
They just said thank you. Were you trying to read something else again?
No. I was listening. I was just wondering if you were going to say there was a question. Okay. All right. Well, then what's the next super chat?
He just wants to say that he loves me. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. You sat there and marinated in it. Like you sat back and
it was pretty, Okay. I mean, give me a break. I've had people calling me virgins all week. So like, I'll take this one for a moment.
You know what? You're right. That's fair. Go ahead. You take the time you need.
Forchi says, I love Advance Wars, but $60. Now, Forchi, when we said we don't like people talk about this stuff, we didn't mean you. This is fine. Okay, he says, I love Advance Wars, but $60? If I'm replaying a game like that, I'll take Wargroove's Beauty for $20. Yeah, and you should if you feel that
Absolutely.
way. I think some people, like, getting the indie riff on it is just not quite, it doesn't hit the same, right?
It's
close.
Wargroove is not as good as Advance Wars, just period. It's not. The pacing of the battles is off. Like, you're often end up in situations where you've moved all your characters to one side of the map, and now something happens on the other side of the map, and you've got to spend 4 turns slowly moving them across the map. It's a fine game, but it is not as refined as the first Advance Wars was, let alone Advance Wars 2 and stuff like that. And really, the one that's been ignored in all this is Tiny Metal. Tiny Metal, the sequel to that, which was like Full Metal Rumble. If you want one that's like really well made and has really good pace and has like some new ideas in it, Tiny Metal Full Metal Rumble is really great as well. And I think it's like $12, so check that out.
Epic Open World says, is Bayonetta 3 in development hell? They are making a character action game, not a big open world game. Starfield is going to come out before Bayonetta 3. I think the issue there is that when they announced Bayonetta 3 at the Game Awards, like, I think it was starting development, right? Because they announced it alongside, it was Reggie, and he was like, hey, Bayonetta 1 and 2 are coming to Switch, and guess what? So is Bayonetta 3. And Nintendo was doing that stuff a lot then, right? They announced Metroid Prime 4 when it was just entering development. They basically did the same thing with Shin Megami Tensei 5, and it's just coming out now. So I think maybe there's been a hiccup. I agree, you'd think it would just be Bayonetta 3. There maybe shouldn't be too much complex going on. Not that it's easy to make any video game, but like it should all work, right? They should know what they're doing. I just think that they announced it incredibly early is all. I wouldn't be worried about like Bayonetta 3 not happening. It's going to happen. Jedi Moss 4 says, Blue Box Game Studios just teased on Twitter that their game Abandoned is actually a Silent Hill game. I haven't seen this tweet, but I feel like this happens all the time where people are just like, or is this the one before people like that? Oh, is that actually a Silent Hill game? Or is that another game? I feel like there's been 4 games where people are like, I bet secretly that's a Silent Hill game. My question is, why would it be such a secret? Why wouldn't it just come out and be a Silent Hill game? Like, why would you have to like go through that hoop? Which is what makes me think it's just people wishful thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not followed this, so I don't have insight on this one. I'm sorry.
I mean, I hope it's a Silent Hill game for all the Silent Hill fans.
Same.
But I don't know. Our favorite listener, WienerBeat Decides, says, instead of looking at websites, I'm just been going here on the abridged version of E3 each day. Fine work, boys. Oh, I suppose I need a question. Will you be streaming news tomorrow and what time? We are taking tomorrow and Thursday off. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled Friday podcasts, which are about 1:30 Eastern. Is when we do those.
I will get back to doing the Game Mess show live probably next week, and that's on twitch.tv/Jeff Grubb. And
isn't the mess isn't the mess over? You're just cleaning up now?
Well, no, because we have EA happening in July, everyone keeps asking about Sony, and the Game Mess continues. I will say I meant to do this at the top, I was going to do it at the end, but that was a good point. I want to say, thank you everybody who's been listening throughout E3. Like we did one of these shows every day, even when there wasn't a lot of news. But a lot of people have been tuning in. It makes doing these things like feel really good. And we realize that a lot of people are tuning in because it's E3. And as you like get busy, you might fall off, and maybe you'll come back next E3, and that's totally fine. But we do these shows every Friday, so if you want to tune in, hang out with us, like get just an update on the news and what's happening in games, and just come hang out with us, like we'll be here. And I totally get if like E3 is the time when you pay attention to this stuff and you want to move on, but we'll be here if you want to come back. So thank you for listening throughout E3, absolutely.
Or you can just catch the podcast version, which has been climbing up in those ranks too.
Got up to 29. That's right. Yeah, we're very excited about that. Yep.
That's right. All right. Zombie Porn says, oh, you said this, but yeah, shut up, Grubb. Shut up, Grubb. Metroid Dread looks great. That's my question. Yeah, we went over this. You feel sufficiently bad at now, so that's good.
I do.
All right, last one for now. Blake Merritt says, so we still don't know why GameStop has double staffed the next 2 days.
We do know. So it's not anything crazy, but they are going to have a lot of Switches in stock tomorrow. And they're going to have a lot of Xbox Series X's in stock on Wednesday.
And they had that Zelda promotion. Like, it's just posters. I know people
Right.
thought that was going to mean something more than it did. I did. Like, when you showed me that, I was like, oh, well, then clearly Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are coming out. I don't know why I made that leap necessarily. But I think a lot of people made that leap with me.
Same, yeah. So, but yeah, basically, it's just they're going to have a lot of hardware in stock, and so they wanted to be ready for it, and that's what it is. I hope that answers the question. All right, so we do have a lot of questions here in from the Discord. Let's try to get through most of these. Let's see. This one's from Jake Bogdanoff. He says, so Zelda ports, do we still expect them? Are they just trying to make sure everyone pays $60 whole for Skyward Sword? I know I would pass on Skyward if they gave me Wind Waker and or Twilight Princess. I think that's part of it now, I guess. I thought they would try to make one big sort of, and I've said this a bunch, like one big like marketing narrative about the Zelda celebration that would start with Skyward Sword and continue through that. But they probably are trying to sell Skyward Sword, and I do think that they want to keep Wind Waker and Twilight Princess in their pocket until we get closer to Breath of the Wild 2's release date.
They were pretty explicit though. Don't expect them this year. I mean, that's basically what they were saying.
Yes, right.
Like,
during this 35th anniversary year, don't expect it. Yes, correct.
So, yeah, maybe next year, before or after Breath of the Wild 2. Or maybe never. I don't know.
Or maybe never. Yeah, fucking Nintendo.
Hold on to your Wii U.
Hold on to your Wii U is what we always say at GamesBeat Decides. Thanks for crushing it all week and making the chaos easier to digest, Bogdanov continues. Is Shin Megami Tensei 5 a timed exclusive?
I think it's just an exclusive.
I think that's how Nintendo's been doing these Shin Megami Tensei games recently, right?
No, I can't remember with Nocturne. Maybe so, but I mean, that was a PlayStation 2 game originally. But I think like 5 was always very tied to Switch. I mean, 4 was because it was a 3DS game, right? They used to be more concrete. Came out, but yeah, I think it's just exclusive for now. I don't think there's anything timed about it. I'm not saying that it won't ever. Oh no, they showed this to me. I told you this would happen. The official Square Enix account just tweeted out the word in all caps, chaos.
You motherfuckers, no!
They're in on the joke. You don't get to laugh with us.
No,
you're not part of this.
This is just us. We're laughing at you. Yeah,
we're mad at you. Like, fix it. We'd be happier if it wasn't there. Don't laugh about it. Like, ha ha ha. Yeah,
do not turn into it. You cannot turn into it. You were already spinning out of control. This is disgusting. I get that there are human beings at Square Enix in the marketing department who are like, listen, we have to do something about this. We're not blaming you. We don't blame you.
No, I get it. You're making the best out of a weird situation. I get it. But that's not the point. Is not that. Oh, if only we liked chaos now. The point is it too late to change that? Like, I almost wish they could do like a year delay on this and just like keep the combat system.
Yeah, fix all the stuff that is like kind of like Repulsive's a bit strong, but it's like it is putting me off when I like see what this game is.
I think Repulsive's good. I'm repulsed.
Yeah, I'm repulsed by it. So.
Like literally, I'm like it literally pushes me away.
Yeah, it is the plus of the magnet. Yes, I am being pushed away. They're not in on the joke. That is awful. Benji Bop, happy Tuesday, Jeff. Why are you booing me? I'm right, Grubb, and Mike consistently booing Minotti. Okay, seriously, what's going on with Sports Story? I thought they were a lock for giving us an update after tweeting last week. They gave that mini update, right? And the mini update was. They're working on it. It became a bigger game than they anticipated, which sounds like the same thing that happened with Breath of the Wild 2. But they said, like, we made tennis like its own entire RPG campaign with all kinds of leveling and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so it just sounds like it's going to be a bigger game than we ever anticipated.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried. I bet it would be fun if we hear about both of these. Because we're probably not going to get another Nintendo Direct this year, but maybe we'll get another Indie Direct or something.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll hear about this. Maybe, dare I even say, we'll hear about Silksong.
Maybe. Like, don't be crazy, but maybe.
Yeah, right.
Benji Bob sends up a follow-up. Does Nintendo get a tougher reception at E3 because they have so many different fan bases to appeal to and don't have the capability, especially with COVID, to appeal to all of them?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned that, right? Like,
I think that's what you meant.
If the thing you were most worried about was Bayonetta 3, then yeah, it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. If you're Jeff Grubb and like you've been sad about how there's no WarioWare or Advance Wars in forever, you're going to be very happy.
Right.
Or if you're just me and you love Metroid, you just want to see something Metroid, you're going to be happy. It's just there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of different Nintendo fans that all want different things, and so you're not going to please everybody.
I think that was very on point, Benji. From Prime Gamer 92. Did they really say no more Zelda Switch games planned for Zelda 35th anniversary when they showed the Zelda game and watch? That's what they said. I went back and watched.
That's what they said.
I didn't hear it the first time, so I went back and listened to it, and that's exactly what he said.
Yeah. So, and I feel like he was very specifically speaking to the people expecting a Wind Waker or Twilight Princess bundle.
Okay, so I like this nickname in this next one. From Canooble. Hello, Jeff Grubb and Mike. Genocide is pretty bad. Minotti.
I did say that.
Yeah, you did. Yep. Do you guys think we will ever get a new console? Oh, okay. Do you guys think we will ever get new consoles on Nintendo Switch Online or a Nintendo Switch Online update with new good value?
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I don't think so at this point.
I don't either.
I don't think so. No, I don't expect it now. Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, it should be Game Boy or
right, and that's pretty easy stuff to do, right? Like, and it's like if they were trying to increase the value of Nintendo Switch Online, as we had heard previously, this stuff would have happened already, I think. So I think it's just not in planning stages. It's just not in the cards. Canubo also goes on to say, and could give me a mic. Okay, and could you give me a I'm sorry, and could give me Mike a D for my fallen friend Wind Waker.
That's a D.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yep.
Yami Seth asks, let's see here. Yes, Nintendo delivered in presentation and content. I can't believe they really made Metroid Dread. Do you think they saved this E3 in the end? Will we look back positively back on E3 2021 now? I think overall we will still remember many of the bad things. Me and Mike will remember covering the bad things because we were like right there paying real close attention to a lot of that stuff. I think in a few years, most people are going to remember the Nintendo and Microsoft shows, and then they'll bring up one or two things. They'll bring up chaos.
I think in terms of memory, we do remember the show specifically more than the like. If I said, "Hey, was E3 2019 good or bad?" I don't know. I don't remember.
Right. Yes, exactly.
So you remember the games, you remember maybe the showcases, and that's enough. We got a super chat here. Let's do that real quick. From Isaac Spencer. Real talk. Do you think we will see Pikmin 4 within this generation? Metroid Dread has raised my hopes, but only slightly. The best thing Pikmin has going for it is that Shigeru Miyamoto likes those games, right? So that it seems like they're always working on one somewhere. And Pikmin 3 Deluxe did well, right? Like it's probably the best-selling Pikmin game, right?
I think it's approaching 3 million copies sold. So yeah, I mean, it is definitely the best-selling Pikmin game ever. And it's probably going to end up like at like 3.5 million at the end of its life, which is pretty impressive for that series.
Pretty impressive for that series, yeah. Yep. So I think we'll see this generation. Like, what's this generation, right? How many more years are we going to get out of the Switch Pro? That's the question. Like maybe Pikmin 4 is a 2023 thing alongside Metroid Prime 4. Maybe it's a 2024 thing. I don't know. But
I would love to see it.
I wouldn't be shocked if we see it. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we see it within the next 4 years.
Yami Seth continued in the same question. Oh yeah, and I'm disappointed in you all. The Spirit Bomb was too weak for Mega Man. Love you guys, and thank you for all your work over the last few days. Thank you, Yami.
I never contributed to the Mega Man Spirit Bomb. I told you, it's not happening. It's not happening.
I would say you could blame Mike, but I think Mike just knew that would be waste.
This. When you said Pikmin 3 Deluxe sold 3 million copies, to be clear, that is twice as many as the best Mega Man game has ever sold. Mega Man 2. That's upsetting to me. And it's weird when you think about in terms of like what video game franchises do you always like see the most merchandise for, right? What other video game franchises have like all this fan art, have literal bands, right? Like music bands, like touring the country playing that music. There's something disproportional about like the mind space of Mega Man and like its sales numbers. And Metroid is a bit like that too, right? That's kind of, they're similar in that way. It's just a thing where the people who like Mega Man, like me, like it a lot. But maybe you can make more money from us by selling us another Mega Man action figure than by making a Mega Man game.
Yep. All right, Nick Turbo. I'm going to read this. He says, why can't DC just let Batman eat a pussy's pussy in peace?
Wow. Because they hate women.
Another question from Nick Turbo. You two should make an E3 2021 tier list video. Yeah, Mike, that might not be a bad idea. We could try something like that.
Let's give it a week or two to digest.
Oh, yeah. For sure. That's something we can come back to.
Booty Bandit says the Final Fantasy Origin demo kicked ass. Well, Mike admit he was wrong. I gave it a 2, though. The gameplay is good. I had fun with it. The aesthetics are still awful, and it's going to hold that game back immensely. I think people are still going to have fun with it. It's going to depend on how much you care or don't care about that stuff. It might depend on how much anime you watch or not. Because the people who are like, I don't really care about that edgy stuff, there are a lot of people I also see tweeting about anime a lot. I'm just saying. So we'll see.
Wow. Judgments have been made.
Saying.
Pinball RJ, do you think Guerrilla Games are the only ones glad Breath of the Wild 2 isn't out this year, so they don't get a repeat of 4 years ago?
Man.
If Horizon Forbidden West actually does come out this year, that is.
I mean, to be clear, what would a repeat from, that
Yeah,
4 or 5
it
years
sold
ago
well,
look
right?
like? It sold well. People liked it. Jeff was like down on
Yeah.
it because he thought it wasn't as good as I think that didn't
I'm
hurt
not
their
down on
feelings
it. I
too
just
much.
bounced off on it. I could see that it was a good game for most people. Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, well, that seems like being a little down on it.
You're okay, fine, yeah, if you want to play it that way.
Sure.
Okay,
But I'm sure they're glad. I'm sure they'd ultimately, if you ask them, they'd be like, yes, we don't want to compete with Breath of the Wild 2.
Should I even read this one from AJ Minotti, who used his the Discord access to do this instead of sending us $100 like the other Minotti
right.
brother?
Where's the pay up, bad guy?
Okay, so AJ asks, so Nintendo and Microsoft both had great shows. Does this kind of make Sony look out of place? I can understand not wanting to go to actual E3 and set up a booth, but I feel like they missed out by not having their own digital showcase this week. They're totally absent from the general gaming conversation right now. I get they'll have a state of play later on, but it still feels weird not to get in on the overall hype. Mike, what's your take on this? Because I definitely I'm a little bit on AJ's side here.
Yeah, it feels like that a little bit, right? And I think there's something to that. I think maybe also we'll forget about that because there is going to be a point now where Sony does their own thing with no one else, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So maybe it'll all make sense then. I'm sure right now though, there are maybe some people uncomfortable there and second guessing themselves, right? Because there's a lot of video game talk happening, and not a lot of it about Sony. And gosh, I wonder if even some of this overshadowed Ratchet and Clank's launch at all. I wonder if that's an issue. That's something interesting to think about. But yeah, I think there's a point there.
I'll say that for me, it is like all through E3 week, if you've noticed, we've been doing episodes every day, and we're not the only ones. People have taken time off of work to make more YouTube content, to consume more YouTube and more podcasts and more articles. People make a point of paying attention to this stuff during E3. That's why we said we know many of you are listening right now, and a lot of you won't be here next week because E3 will be over. And I think that Sony is missing out on that. Like, that stuff is important, and it's more important for smaller companies, but it's also important for Sony because people are more excited during E3, and it only seems to help if you participate in that and you deliver something that's good that people really like. So I do think Sony feels a little out of place. I think that its state of play will do just fine. It'll get a lot of views. It'll create a lot of buzz, but it won't be quite exactly the same thing as if it happened during E3. But it's not going to hurt them overall.
Like, what if they came and they were third place, right? Like, what if they weren't as good as Microsoft?
You're right.
And
That's
Nintendo?
A very good point.
At that point, it's better to just not be there, right?
Right.
Until you're ready.
And we don't know what's going to be in the next state of play, but it does feel like there is a chance that they are kind of on their back foot right now because they are worried about Horizon coming out this year, and they did delay God of War, and they did delay Gran Turismo, which of course they delayed it, but they're pushing some games out of this year, and they might be in a situation where they might not have a lot to talk about until a little bit later. So you're right, they could be in that situation.
We have a couple super chats here. Kyrie Williams says, "Where's Bayonetta 3?" And yeah, we talked about that a bit. It's just still in development. They just announced that game like probably before there was much of any work done on it. Jedi Moss 4 says, "Best part of Microsoft's E3 show is 90% of what we saw is on Game Pass day one. No need to worry over what to spend money on and when you can play them all." Yeah, I mean, Game Pass is great, right? And it makes you feel very good every time you see that little Game Pass logo, and you're like, "Oh, am I going to play that? Oh, I guess I will play that because why not? I'll just get it." Vincent Azog says, "Jeff, you hyped me for the gunk. It was relegated to the extended showcase. Should I temper my expectations?"
Listen, I don't think so. I think that it's just relegated to the showcase because I think they want to, they made a point of making the showcase a very specific thing where most of the games they showed were really big deals, and they did have some sizzle reels for some other stuff, but they showed the gunk before, and they showed gameplay for the gunk before. So are they really just going to show more gameplay of the gunk? I think it makes sense to do it in the showcase where you can talk about the gameplay and talk about the game more extendedly, and to me that's a good fit. I have a lot of faith in what was once Image and Form games. I think they're now called Thunderful. I am
Thunderful.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in them delivering a very good game. I know Mike has bad taste about SteamWorld Dig 2. That's one of the best games ever made. So
true.
Yeah, so yeah, I still have a lot of faith in the gunk.
I just realized too, when WienerBeat Decides, our favorite name, gave us a super chat. It was a generous one. I didn't notice the amount. So thank you, WienerBeat Decides.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I was about to say we love your wiener, and then I thought better of it. That's immature. The 10 Derek says, Jeff, 100% accurate Grubb, and Mike, better than Batman Minotti. There you go. Where is/was Pokemon? Pokemon just does its own thing now on the Pokemon company's like little directs, right?
Yep.
That's where we hear about Pokemon now. I am a little surprised we didn't see like a little bit of the remakes that are coming out this year. I thought we'd see something on that, but not even. I wonder if Nintendo's keeping those more separate than ever because of that weird thing where their stock went up because of Pokemon Go.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if that's a Nintendo decision than Pokemon Company decision. Although it does feel like the Pokemon Company is building up like its presentation side of its company more, so they maybe want to keep that stuff closer. That makes some sense. Deverell. Seems like a shift in marketing with Starfield and Bethesda. What do you expect for us to? When do you expect us to hear more on Starfield? That Washington Post video feels like an intro to a larger behind-the-scenes video or series. So I think what Deverell means by the shift is previously we'd get a Bethesda game announced and it comes out 6 months later. Now it's coming out 18 months later, right?
I mean, when people say that, like they're thinking about Fallout 4 specifically
and Fallout 76.
So it's Fallout 76. I guess Skyrim wasn't too long of a wait either, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, but Skyrim's 10 years ago. Like that doesn't matter. Like
you're right.
The two most recent games were this path. So, but
yeah.
You're right. If you look in the grand scheme of things, this is not like that unusual that it's the next holiday instead of this holiday. Sometimes that's how it works out. And that's how it worked out here. But it is a shift, I guess, from the two most recent big games from Bethesda Game Studios. But when do we expect to hear more? I think there's a chance we could hear more about Starfield at the Game Awards, but probably we get the next big blowout at next E3.
I think so too. I think so too.
We might get vid docs. We might get a video series. I think that might make sense because they seem like they have the capacity to make very good versions of those. That video doc they did that was on the Washington Post website and now is everywhere. It was very, very well done. It did show more from the game, and I think if they have the capacity to do those pretty frequently, they could talk to their biggest fans a lot and kind of get a lot of information out that way and keep that conversation going. Wildfire Alex asks, will Nintendo keep Metroid Dread's release date, or will it push back to 2022?
No, that one's coming out, I think. I think
you're right.
Safe.
I think that one's safe. What is the date on that one? September?
October? I thought. I'll find out.
Okay, yeah.
I can't keep track of everything.
GamesBeat.com has a story up about the second half of the year for Nintendo, so if you want to check out that story, I put all the dates in there.
October 8th.
You said October 8th? Okay. All right, cool. Yep. Well, that's a bit far away, but we'll get there. What's up with... Okay, Low Rule asks, what's up E3's Jason Momoa and Mike Minotti?
That's right. Minotti too hotty. Let's go.
With Nintendo reviving old franchises like Advance Wars and 2D Metroid, what other Nintendo franchise do you want to come back? And which do you think will succeed on the Switch? So what's the other answer to the other question, Mike?
Yeah, you're not wrong there. Yeah, Star Tropics would. F-Zero would do well in the Switch. Bring back F-Zero.
Right.
Make that will do well. That one is weird. F-Zero.
I am of the opinion that if Nintendo were to make a Mother 4, it would sell like 10 million copies. I think.
Earthbound's like cachet or whatever. It's just seems to keep going up and
up. Yep.
Yeah, people. I mean, that's not even on this SNES like library on Switch, is it?
No.
Dude, maybe they don't know. It's like with Final Fantasy 6 where they just don't know that we like it over here.
Yeah. I mean, they made jokes about it before, but that was Nintendo of America, so maybe you're right.
That was Reggie was making the jokes like, "Oh, you ask me about all the time." And it's like, again, it's almost like this chaos thing, like, "Ha ha ha, yeah, you're in on the joke." Also, can we have the game, please?
So Mike, this is another question from Low Rule, but I'm gonna set this up a little bit. There is a YouTuber named RGT85, and he says that Metroid. The new Metroid games will never sell well, specifically Metroid Prime 4, because past Metroids have never sold well. And I think he made a bet something like the new Metroid Prime 4 won't sell over 3.5 million copies. But Low Rule's asking about Metroid Dread and says, do you think it will sell more than 3 million copies? I think it's gonna be close. I think
it's gonna be right around there. Like it'll probably do like Pikmin 3 numbers, right?
I think it'll be between Pikmin 3 and Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening is like
Link's Awakening too, but
that's
like
5 million.
I was thinking that, but then but that's what scared me off a bit. I'm like, that's Zelda, right?
Yeah,
and that actually seems kind of low for that.
Right.
Like, I was actually shocked that one didn't do better.
Well, I think that one might have got spanked because of the price, right? Because that was a $60 Game Boy game. It's just a Game Boy remake. It's $60.
This one might get a little spanked by the price too. Then I know we hate saying that, but maybe 3 million seems to be the range here for this.
I think it's the right over under, right?
Yeah. If it was 2 million, I wouldn't call that like a failure. I wouldn't be too shocked.
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be a failure. I think as long as it sells more than Pikmin 3 Deluxe, it's going to be pretty okay. I think 3 million is possible though, especially on the Switch, especially as we get more and more Switches sold.
But Metroid Prime 4 will sell better. Like Metroid, I would hope Metroid Prime 4 becomes the best-selling Metroid game ever. Like,
it easily will. Yeah, because I think the best-selling one's like 1.8 million or something like that. I think for me, I've said it'll sell 7 million. I think is what I think. 7.5 million for Metroid Prime 4, and I stick to that. I think it easily gets to 7.5 million in the first year. Bustelo. Oh, go ahead. No, Dally. No, Dally, not Dolly. Dally. Dilly. Dally Demovsky says, just wanted to give you guys mad props for all the great videos, articles, and sexiness. You didn't even have to wear pants again. Heart. Here you go. Heart. Especially since I'm worried I didn't say your name right. That's Dally from he's friends with Winner Beats Decides. He is.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Dolly and Wiener Beats.
Yeah, thanks, Dolly. I appreciate that, man. Good looking out. Bustelo asks, hey guys, thanks for all the E3 coverage. You both did awesome job, and I enjoyed every second of the podcast these past 2 days. Thank you so much. And then in parentheses, not to imply I didn't enjoy your previous content. That stuff was great too.
That stuff was garbage. Wasn't even trying.
Yeah, we weren't like really. We are wearing pants now. We never did that before. Nintendo definitely came through, sort of. We definitely manifested that Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, but I got strong holiday 2022 vibes when I saw it. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Do you still believe when we see this by or around March of next year? No, we do not.
No.
Or is this just Nintendo not wanting to commit to early 2022? No, it is not. It is just late 2022.
I think it's late 2022. I think that's our holiday game next year.
I hope you both get tons of rest. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. It's interesting how we're kind of hearing about everybody's next big holiday games already. Like we know Starfield is Microsoft's. We pretty much know God of War is Sony's, and now we know that probably Breath of the Wild 2 would be Nintendo's.
Yep.
Like, there's a big competition in 2022 from these three, which is actually kind of exciting. Okay, we don't always get that.
Yeah, and Elden Ring when it gets delayed to the holidays. So I'm joking. I don't think if it gets delayed, it'll be like till like March. Wildfire Alex, now that the event has passed, will Nintendo reveal any new type of Nintendo Switch hardware this year or wait until 2022? We talked about this a little bit. Mike thinks 2022. I think there's still a chance for later this year, but I have the clown makeup right next to me, ready to go.
See it.
Ready to go. It is ready to go. All right, let's see. From Tane, let me bring up a Tane here. Oh, now Tane I can get into. Do you think the Advance Wars remakes will lead to a new entry in the series? Tane, I hope so. I think so. It's possible. Going to depend on sales. I hope that the team working on this, if it is way forward, like I think someone said that earlier. We'll double check, but I think that's probably right. It would be great to just like keep them on hand to handle the next one. Give Way Forward work. Let them work on a great franchise. They're a great developer. That would be fantastic.
It'd be like what Mercury Steve did. They remade Metroid 2, and then they just make the next actual Metroid.
Exactly, and I expect this game to sell better than that Metroid Samus Returns that was relegated to 3DS after the Switch came out.
I think Nintendo knows they can't hold it against any of those late 3DS games, like because WarioWare was one of them.
Except for Alpha Dream, which they did not rescue when they had to close down because of Mario and Luigi. But yeah, that's it was an unfortunate situation.
Remaking those games was a weird decision, anyways. To be honest.
Absolutely. But you couldn't remake them for the Switch, so I get why they was made in the first place. It was just bad timing. Waluigi asks, "Wow, Jeff and Mike, what do I have to do to get into Smash Ultimate?"
Wario is in Smash Ultimate.
No,
Oh,
this
Waluigi.
is Waluigi. I know. I did more of a
Waluigi.
Wario, but that's my vibes are much
I
more
don't know why I
Wario.
heard Wario. Wario, you're an assist trophy, buddy. I'm sorry. I mean, I was upset too. I wanted you, and you had. If it makes you feel better, you got to be the subject of the greatest newspaper story of all time with Washington Post.
I'm a big fan of Gene Park, even if he leaks Starfield. I turned into a pirate. I turned into a pirate. What the fuck?
He didn't leak it personally.
Yeah, he personally leaked it. We should. Every time I see it, I'm just gonna say that he's gonna be so mad.
Because like they know that we like Waluigi, like like that his stuff in Mario Golf's fantastic. Like they let them know there's something there. But again, it's Nintendo. Things that seem obvious, like let's do more if Waluigi doesn't happen. And maybe that's another kind of cultural thing. Like maybe in Japan they do not feel very strongly about Waluigi.
I think that might be the case. Yeah, they're like, you mean that doubles partner for tennis? What are you talking about? Bench JC, when do you expect Breath of the Wild 2 to be released in 2022, and will it actually make 2022? Mike?
Yeah, holiday. I expect it like October, November.
All right,
maybe September.
I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for these questions, but we still got about 10 more, but let's get to them.
Let's do it.
Gigamir, I've heard rumor that Platinum doesn't have to adhere to Nintendo deadlines with Bayonetta 3 due to the way their publishing relationship is structured. Do you have any insight on this? I haven't heard, but based on what we're seeing, that doesn't sound too far-fetched.
They're busy making that game, that Babylon's Tower, or Babylon's Fall for Square Enix that we're all really excited about.
Yeah. Ray Mogos, if Arby's dedicated a sandwich to chaos, what would be on it?
Just Arby's sauce.
Just Arby's sauce. Just horsey sauce. No, it's just horsey sauce.
Just mayo and Arby's sauce between two of the buns.
Oh, that's good stuff. Okay, Louis Patelli. I'm sorry if you don't like me saying your name like that, please tell me. But it's a fun name to say.
I like it.
Louis Patelli says Jason Schreier has already tweeted that 2023 is more likely for Breath of the Wild 2 than 2022. Could that mean Nintendo might also push back the Switch Pro to release the two together? No, they have moved away from that idea of releasing these two things together. That is not the case anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could get delayed. They clearly want to do. I mean. I know we were saying this about something else that they said 2020 Horizon, right? I do think there is still something to them saying 2022. I still think you would bet on the date that they're giving. Again, likely for a delay, but like let's not completely just be like it's never gonna make that year.
Yeah, I think they're saying aiming for 2022 because they're still scared. They're still scared of what happened with COVID, and it hit them really hard. But they would not say 2022 at all if they weren't thinking it was going to make 2022. So I think there's a good chance it could get delayed. But I right now, if I had to make a bet, I would bet on 2022 for Zelda.
Yeah. I mean, now to be clear, that absolutely makes me feel even better about saying holiday. Like it's absolutely holiday 2022.
It's definitely holiday. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Fossil 007 just says both of you are national treasures. You're a national treasure.
Yeah. Thank you, Faisal.
007.
Should we do a really patriotic episode for July 4th? Both of us just go all out and wear American flag clothes.
I'd like it. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, every July 4th I watch the 1970s musical 1776.
I've never seen it.
Starring the guy from Boy Meets World, the
really?
Mr. Feeney as John Adams. Yes. It's
Okay.
fantastic.
I've never seen it. That sounds like fun. I'll check that out. I watch Independence Day with Will Smith.
Well, aren't you basic?
Yeah. Hey, just give me my McDonald's and give me my Arby's and my Will Smith, and I'm happy.
Don't get your Papa John's. You'll get yelled at on Twitter for admitting you get Papa John's sometimes.
That's for you, Jason. Louis Patelli asks another one. Okay, now that E3 has concluded, we can move on to the next. What can we expect to see at EA Play? Oof. I don't know everything, but I know one thing. And Mike, it's that one. It's that one. It's the one. It is. It's good. We're gonna see it. Man,
if we're not dead first.
I'll have to ask and see if I could really start teasing that one. I know there's someone on like Reset Era who has been teasing it a lot, so I feel like it's probably close enough that I could start saying. But it's gonna be exciting. I think it's gonna be exciting. So we'll talk about it more here pretty soon. Thank you for the question, Louis.
I mean, they're going to show, we'll probably see a little bit of Dragon Age. We're going to see a lot of Battlefield. It's good.
Yeah.
Titanfall 3, someone said, let's not get our hopes up.
Yeah, not for Titanfall 3.
Maybe Jedi Fallen Order 2. I don't know.
Jedi Fallen Order 2, when I've asked about that, we'll start seeing it next year. We'll start seeing that on that next year. And I just heard that one recently. Keywork asks, what would it take to save Splinter Cell? Do I have to watch the anime? Will that make me a weeb? Can I get Papa Microsoft a money had it?
Watching it won't help because the Castlevania anime was a big hit, big success. We didn't get any new Castlevania games.
Yep.
Somehow it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, apparently not. You know, it worked really well for The Witcher, though. Everyone watched The Witcher and then went to go play the game. So it's like these companies are just dropping the ball on the other side of this.
Yeah, like if there was a castle, like what could people have even bought? The Castlevania collection, which a lot of people aren't really going to be into who are watching a mainstream thing on Netflix. Yeah, if there was if that Xbox 360 Castlevania game had like come out nowish, that would have been good timing.
Mm-hmm. They need to just do a goddamn Castlevania collection. That's the one thing I wish they would have had at the direct.
Game Boy Advance one, the Metroidvanias.
Yeah. Splinter Cell, just make it a Metal Gear Solid 5 ripoff at this point.
Sure.
The second question from Keywork. Excuse me. Mike, any tips to transition into Final Fantasy 14? I've been playing WoW for almost 17 years, and Blizzard is making it hard to enjoy that game.
Yeah. This is really interesting. So Jeff, like, World of Warcraft is in its longest wait between updates almost ever, I think. So Shadowlands came out like last fall, right? Or August or something. And the big next patch hasn't come out yet. It's been very long. And a lot of people have jumped to Final Fantasy 14. And the weirdest thing now is that all the World of Warcraft content creators are talking about Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, okay.
People are kind of freaking out because the big one, Osmongold, is going to play it soon. He says.
I was going to ask because that's the one I recognized one time because he was like, because he got mentioned in a video, so I went to go check him out, and I'm like, oh, he's abrasive.
He is. Yeah. But
so he's going to move to Final Fantasy 14, you think?
Well, he's not going to move. He's going to try it, and it's probably not going to go well because talk about
his audience.
It's not a streamable game at first because it is very much a lot of cutscenes. It's a very story focused affair for your first 300 400 hours of gameplay. That's why, Jeff, you'll never like it. You'll never get into it. But you're still playing the MMO and all that stuff. So if you like MMO stuff because like World of Warcraft, you'll like that. And the characters in the world are better, and the classes, the jobs are all very fun. But the hardest thing for people to get through is just that initial batch of storyline stuff is fine, but doesn't get really good until the first expansion, Heaven's Ward. So that's my big piece of advice is just if get through it a bit, get some big chunks of time in, work your way through the main story quest. That's the big thing. It's called the main story quest. Play the main story quest above everything else. You'll level up as you're doing that. Just do that until that ain't there no more. Don't worry about a lot of these extra things. Other big piece of advice, play a DPS job at first. You can pick a tank or healer to start leveling up with. And you'll get faster queues for the dungeons and some of them you need to do for the main story quest. But overall, it'll be easier and you'll have a better time understanding what you're doing if you pick a DPS job like Black Mage or Thaumaturge as its starting job, or Lancer, or Pugilist. It's a person who fights with his fists, something like that. But yeah, it's really interesting what's been going on Final Fantasy 14 because a lot of the WoW community is really anxious. It's been so long for an update. Now, once the update does come out, maybe that'll change. But yeah, if you have anything else to ask about Final Fantasy 14, we have a Final Fantasy 14 section in the Discord now. It's called Limsa Luminsa, which is the name of one of the capital cities. You can go in there. We have a little community there. We'll help you with Final Fantasy 14. Don't worry.
Yeah, discord.gg/game mess. So just come hang out with us. It's pretty popping in there. I never look at it.
And I can give you my character name and everything in there too if you need any help.
Do the super chats.
Yeah, 5Soul77 says Silent Hill rumor resurfaced again today by Sony fans. Yeah, we saw that. Someone said something earlier about that one abandoned or something secretly being a Silent Hill game. We'll see. I'm not going to believe anything about Silent Hill until I actually see it.
Yeah.
Because again, why does the game secretly have to be a Silent Hill game? Why can't it just be a Silent Hill game? I don't understand. JLens001 says, what metrics are Microsoft looking for their first-party game sales or player base? Will there be? Is Microsoft looking at first-party game sales or overall player base? Because we know that Game Pass. And will there be additional Nintendo or Xbox events this year?
For that last question, I think there probably will be a little bit for both. Definitely by the Game Awards. If they don't have anything by the Game Awards, both of them will be at the Game Awards for something. For that first question, it's very similar to Netflix. They are looking for new subscribers, people who are subscribing to Game Pass for the first time, and they are directly associating like game launches with that, and they're looking at that data very closely. And that's, this is the big reason why they ended up making the decision to make all Bethesda games exclusive. They considered all their options. They absolutely considered releasing Bethesda games on PlayStation. They 100% had someone an analyst look at all this stuff and try to figure this stuff out. I would assume, like, yeah, they definitely did that, but I know that they considered a bunch of different options. The reason they went with exclusivity is because that is the one that gives them the most new subscribers every time a new Bethesda game comes out, or any one of their games comes out, because that's what they care about above everything else. And and when people like start sort of like doing some FUD about Game Pass, where they're like, this is going to change the way games are made, that'll happen eventually, and it will be like Netflix, where Netflix does a lot of shows for like 2 seasons, and then it doesn't continue past then, unless that show is a huge breakout hit that sells a ton of merch and has a bunch of stuff on the side, because a 3rd and 4th season of a pretty popular show doesn't bring in that many new subscribers, but a brand new show actually does. And so Microsoft's going to probably have a similar situation. I don't know what that will look like for games, but when it comes to the key metric they're looking at, it is new subscribers.
So you're saying there will be a Contraband 3?
I don't know. That's a good. Yeah, there will not be a Contraband 3 confirmed today. That's on exactly the GamesBeat Decides. Yep. All right. Yeah, go put that on NeoGAF.
NeoGAF. Wow.
Go put it on N4G. Giggy.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Don't even. I used to have to put all our stories on N4G. Oh, yep. God, don't even say that. That's not a thing anymore, right?
It is absolutely still a thing, Mike. It absolutely is. And I think it's like a super duper like PlayStation fanboy place. So I think whenever we talk about anything, they can matter.
Back then,
yeah,
right?
Okay. Yeah, probably. Giggy touched on something we kind of talked a little bit about, but let's talk about it. Nintendo told us all there would be no new hardware reveal, and yet everyone is disappointed there was no new hardware reveal. When will we all learn?
Well, I mean, these people do lie sometimes, I guess, is the defense, right?
Right.
They do just lie sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think at this situation, we probably should have not expected.
Yeah, when they put out that tweet last night and it was like exclusively about software, I was confident that they were not lying anymore.
It was a fucking lie because they showed the Game & Watch.
You're right. These pieces of shit. You don't get to make the chaos joke, and Nintendo is always a liar. This is what we decided today. GamesBeat Decide has decided something today.
We decided that Nintendo's done.
Yeah, they're canceled.
I almost said canceled. I shouldn't just throw that word around, but then you went into it.
Yeah, I went there, did it anyhow. Because, the jokes, they're fun. Billy the Door asks, do you think people thought E3 was light this year due to more regular updates we have been receiving from publishers? Lots of stuff looked cool, but lots of stuff also has been seen in many other showcases. There's something to that, right?
I mean, I don't know. It used to be back in the day that there was like 6 like widely distributed magazines that each had a cover story every month too, right? So
that's true. Yeah, I guess, but you probably didn't get all 6 magazines, right? You got 1 magazine, maybe 2.
But they were all getting a cover story, and they all had to have some kind of a big game, and maybe it was a reveal, or maybe it was something. Right. So news was still spread out. Like it wasn't like 12 years ago, all the news just happened straight up at E3. There were still other flashpoints.
Yeah, publishers are communicating to people more regularly, directly, but
oh my gosh, that's who WienerBeat Decides is. He just called you my lord.
Oh yeah, see now you know. Okay, now you put 2 and 2 together.
I know who WienerBeat Decides is. I recognize him from Twitter now. The guy's always calling you my lord because he used to call you cuck, and I think that kind of became a little unsavory.
Yeah, that's exactly what he decided. He's like, I can't do that anymore, so I'm going to do my lord. God damn it. All right, Natalie asks, with Nintendo showing their 2021 lineup, do you guys think they are purposefully holding back the 2022 lineup to save it for the new Super Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Plus Max Extra reveal in autumn or early 2022? Or is the Pro just the greatest lie ever told?
That is true, right? Like, we're all pretty sure there's a Switch Pro. People have said that it's coming. Like, we don't. Like, maybe not. I'm not throwing it outside the realm of possibility.
Listen, like the credible sources that have said this are Eurogamer and Mochizuki from Bloomberg, right? And then a few other places here or there. Nate the Hate has had some stuff before. So I don't know. I think it's probably something. They're working on new hardware. Are we ever going to see it? I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think about the timing and like in holding back the 2022 lineup?
No, I don't think there's anything to that. I think they usually focus. They like to focus on games coming out.
Recently, they have done a lot of that. Yes, right. Where it's like it's all come. Here's what we're going to sell you.
Why.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jackson Tench. Now that E3 has come and gone and most of the Switch games look, well, like Switch games, great ones at that, is there any doubt that a Switch Pro is a real thing that developers have access to, or is it further off than Bloomberg/Emily Rogers have been reporting? I don't think it's a further off. Mike thinks it might be a little bit further off. That's basically what we've decided. You think it's 2022, right?
I think it's 2022, yes.
Okay, and I still think it's probably this fall.
I'm basing that a lot on gut at this point.
Right, so. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. What else do we have to go on? Like, they didn't say anything. Benji Bop, abusing my Patreon power to force Jeff to play Advance Wars against Mike when it comes out. That is all. Absolutely. We will do that.
That's bullshit. Oh, so the one time I'm going to play a game with you, it's a game that you like are really good at and play all the time that I am like mediocre at. Play me in Smash Brothers or something, you coward. God.
All right, fine. I'll do that too.
Ooh,
God.
What if the last Smash Bros. Character is an Advance Wars character? That'd be cool.
That would be great. Oh, I mean, I always wanted that. Yeah, I never got my hopes up for it because, of course, they're not going to do that. But that would be great.
Maybe now. I don't know. Hey, we got one more super chat from Faso007 here. Should I expect anything from Ninja Theory at the extended Xbox show? As I am really looking forward for both Project Mara and Hellblade 2. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, so they're going to do a vid doc with Ninja Theory about Hellblade 2 there. Yeah, absolutely. Project Mara is very far off still. That's coming after Hellblade 2, so that's like 2024 at the earliest. So they're probably not gonna, they might mention it. Even when they talk about Hellblade 2, they're not, I don't think they're going to show any new gameplay or anything like that. It's probably going to be all the same footage we've seen before for the most part from this vid doc. So just go in there and look for information, listen to what they say, but don't expect like a new glimpse at the game. And if they do show something new, that's just kind of icing on the cake. Last question from the Discord. Eric asks, given the kinds of games Arcane has made in the past, Mike, do you really think they're just going to do a Left 4 Dead type game? That's not really their style, right? Right, Mike?
I mean, I think they're going to make a pretty ambitious Left 4 Dead style game with their fun powers.
It's going to be like that Hunter the Reckoning. It's going to be more like that, right? It's going to be like a more like a Gauntlet, maybe.
Well, if they had not said anything before they showed that trailer, everybody would absolutely be like, oh, that is a Left 4 Dead game. So why would you make a 5-minute long trailer that is very clearly trying to convey this is like Left 4 Dead if it's not that?
Okay, I don't know how to argue against that, but
yeah, that's right. It's logic.
But they said it was open world, though, Mike.
Okay, so it's open world, so
and it's Arcane Austin.
And like Division is open world, and then you walk inside a building, and then you're in a linear mission. There you go. It's open world. Wow.
They haven't done like Left 4 Dead's done an immersive sim. They also said it was an open world immersive sim. So it's like,
I mean, look, I'm sure there will be those elements. But like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Nick Turbo sent in one more question. Said, when are we playing Among Us again? I'll play some Among Us.
Oh yeah, right. Wait, did I miss a super chat from Brian Hopkins? I'm going to have to look for that now. What? Do you have anything else?
I don't. No, I have nothing else, but I can vamp while you're looking for that.
Look at that. I did just like completely go over that one. I'm sorry, Brian.
I'm sorry, Brian Hopkins.
I did it. All right, Jeff. It's time for our daily Marvel XCOM game check. Please tell me you have good news. Thanks. Love your faces. Hey, thanks, Brian. Again, I'm sorry I missed that. If I ever miss it, guys, because I am, despite what you might think, I am human. I make mistakes. Just let me know, and I'll get to them. So yeah, Marvel. I mean, it's still real, right?
Yeah, it's still real. Yeah, absolutely. But like, I confirmed everything in that leak is real. We never knew for sure everything was going to be at E3. I think what happened was the timing of that leak and me confirming it, and then right at that same time, Take-Two went right on the schedule for E3. It was like, oh, that'll be what they'll talk about. Who knows what else they'll have, but they'll talk about that and that Codename Volt game as well from Hangar 13. They'll talk about that as well, and they didn't. To me, that that almost suggests that these things might be in a PlayStation State of Play. I don't know that, but like that Codename Volt, like a Hangar 13 game, I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that the PlayStation tries to money hat as an exclusive. Probably not Marvel XCOM. That would be too complicated with too many other partners. But yeah, I think we'll probably hear about those pretty soon still. I wouldn't be surprised if those are games coming out this fall or early next year, and so we hear about them soon.
I'm old enough to remember when the Penny Arcade Money Hat comic came out. Oh no.
Sorry, Louis Patelli says, "Hey Jeff, say my name exactly as you do. I dig it. Keep up the great work, guys. I love all the content. Thank you, Louis Patelli."
Louis Patelli, good morning games, by the way, says no question here. Just wanted to say thank you guys for the insane amount of E3 coverage over the past 4 days. Great stuff. Thank you, GMG.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you everybody who's been listening this entire week, or if you just checked in one time with us for this episode, that's great too. Yeah, just thanks overall. And thank you, Mike Minotti, for hanging out with me through all these podcasts. It's been fun, huh?
Wow, you're welcome. I don't thank you.
Yeah, that's fair. Cool. I mean, my heart broke, but thank you.
You a favor, but yeah. No, yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I mean, it's great. We did this for a long time without people watching, so it's great to actually have people here and everything.
Yeah, I did look at we joined we moved the podcast to Anchor last year, right before E3, like in April, and I looked at the chart and like it is like flat, like right next to 0 for all the episodes we did during E3 last year, or E3, like whatever E3 was back then. But like we did a bunch of episodes kind of like back to back around that time, like talking about the different stuff, and yeah, it was just flat next to 0, and then. Recently, this week has been our best week ever. Obviously, we've done a lot of episodes, but still, it's been our best week ever. So that's really nice. Mike, we should wrap up. We should get out of here. We should let these people go. Why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet? Plug whatever you need to.
And Natalie Harold just said, "Thanks, lads. Please go sleep."
You know it, Natalie.
My pizza.
Get your pizza. Wait, where? So tell us about your pizza. Your local pizza place.
Well, gosh. So, I mean, there's a local one that does more of a New York style called Bruno Brothers. At least I assume that's local. I don't think that's a chain. But I'm going to maybe get to that. I'm kind of in that mood. But I don't know. If not that, like the traditional Youngstown style pizza is kind of a pan pizza. I can go to a Bellaria or I can go to a Cornersburg, Elmpton, maybe. I don't know. I still a game time decision here. I have to think a bit. But I'm getting pizza. And I'm going to eat like I'm going to tell myself I'm going to eat half of it tonight and like eat the rest for lunch tomorrow. We'll see.
Probably 3/4 of it and have like that one slice where you're like, I'll save that. Yeah.
Yeah. People from the area are saying Wedgwood, and like that's like my slightly hot take is like Wedgwood's fine. Fernando Wedgwood. I'm sorry, GMG. You already gave me your money, but I was going to say, Wedgwood's fine. I like Wedgwood. I think there's better. Here.
All right, Mike, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Tolkoto, TOLKOTO. And you can check out my 90s Disney podcast, 90s Disney, at 90sdisney.com.
I am Jeff Grubb on Twitter, Jeff Grubb on Twitch, so twitch.tv/Jeff Grubb. Follow me there. I do the Game Mesh show on Tuesdays. Probably going to do it all year round. We'll find other things to talk about when E3 isn't happening. Basically, it'll just be like a news show at that point. Yeah, we'll continue with the regular podcast on Fridays. So come back here on youtube.com/JeffreyGrubb/live to watch us on Friday afternoons. If you're listening to the podcast version, if you're watching the YouTube version, you want to subscribe to the podcast version, feel free to do that wherever pods are caught. That's anchor.fm/GamesBeat-Decides. Yeah, anything else? I'm trying to feel like if there's anything else I feel like mentioning. Go to GamesBeat.com. We wrote a lot of stories. We put a lot of insight into those stories, things that might not have come up here. But yeah, like if you want to like check out the full list of games coming to Switch, basically that Nintendo announced today. I did a story on that.
It is funny. I'm so concerned about the podcast these days. I'm so excited about them. I'm like, oh, I'm a writer first. Still to write stories.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, GamesBeat.com is like it's its own thing. It has its own audience, and us telling people like out here, like, hey, go to GamesBeat.com. It helps. But if you guys don't go to GamesBeat.com, it doesn't hurt us all that much because our audience is like executives and stuff like that. And as long as they're reading the site, we're pretty okay. Yeah. All right, Mike, let's wrap this up. E3's over. It's weird. Normally we would just we'd go to the Yard House and have some beers there. But
and then like have that awkward, like, or that like you're excited or like relieved, but you're like, now 15 hours later, I'll be home.
Yeah. You're like, I don't. I'm like still in that high gear of like making sure I'm like on my toes, ready to do work or ready to like pay attention to something or ready to start writing at a moment's notice.
I'm glad I don't have like a bunch of interviews. I'm waiting to like get back transcribed to do stories off of. I'm like, no, it's just done. E3's done.
E3's done. Yep. We'll do some follow-up stories, but yeah.
I'm glad that we had it this year instead of last year because last year was a game mess.
Yep. It was a real mess. Yeah. This year, a bit messy, but definitely better than last year. All right,
like
everybody.
We can't say goodbye. We keep dragging this on. Let's
well,
go.
yeah, it's over. Then what are we gonna do? Like, I guess we're gonna go eat pizza and stuff. All right. Yeah,
we'll
when this show isn't live, we don't exist. Everybody, it's pretty weird. All right, I'm gonna go play Tunic. Actually, all right, but
it's weird not existing.
It's weird not existing. I'm not a big fan of it. We love you, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back Friday. Check us out then. Have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.